Hello, and welcome to Elite Encounters. Don't adjust your stream feed. What you're seeing is actually correct. I assure you that our seer is alive and well. Anyway, we want to say a special hello to our Elite. If you want to become Elite, hit that subscribe button, and you can catch our recast of the show on YouTube on Fridays at 6 p.m. Coming up, we have a live event at Books and Brews in Brownsburg, Indiana on December 19th. If you're local, or if you want to come see us live, come check us out. We would love to have you. We are in the middle of the Soul Severed campaign. We are exploring our memories and what makes us so special. When last we left off, Lenny was being compulsory pulled and was forced to walk towards the east. And we had secured him and made sure that he wasn't going to wander off during the night. And you guys had found yourself with myself as well. We had fallen asleep. I want to take us to the following morning. Barnabas, as you were sleeping soundly, one of the leaves from the nearby tree suddenly let go of its leaves, and they drifted down towards the ground, and one of them flutters and flashes and falls and lands right on your face as you're trying to sleep, and it startles you awake. As you open your eyes, you take a glimpse around you and you take in the first breath of what now seems to be fall, crisp, cool air. You know for a fact that when you went to sleep last night, it was still summer. Turn your mic on.
Oh no.
Oh no, it is on.
Audio.
I think the magical interference has chopped up Barnabas's speaking device.
Yeah. Barnabas, I can't hear you. I mean, I'm sleeping, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Internal monologues.
Oh. Doo-doo. You take a time out.
I wonder if I can have my own internal monologue. Like, is that how that works?
Yeah. Oh.
Arcane sticks ring backwards.
Oh my gosh, the flash rods.
Dreaming of.
He had
playing
inverted
with
flash
LTD
rods.
and-
His AC was becoming his DC.
Is that better? Well, that happens, I guess, from time to time.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I wonder if this has to relate at all to the same magical interferences we saw previously, where the forests weren't quite natural in with the seasons.
Who were you speaking to, as you were the only one awake?
Probably myself.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of ponder around, checking, absorbing my surroundings. I kind of look beyond my immediate surroundings. Were there any additional trees that were also
Yeah, so as you
fall foliage?
as you find yourself in the area where you guys had set up camp, you're looking around and you see the spots where your companions were sleeping. And as you're not really kind of taking in what you know to be your camp, as you're looking around, all you can see are trees that are barren and leaves had fallen.
Oh wow! So it is, yeah, it is late fall then. This is very curious. I start looking around for my companions that may know more about this than I would. I guess I could, in my own curiosity, ponder the nature of it and see
Sure.
what I can suss out myself.
Sure.
I'd hate to embarrass myself by having to ask other people.
Especially while you're the only one awake.
Right.
It's just very strange. Like
It's so strange, in fact, that you're so
I have no real.
you're so internally monologued in what you're trying to figure out with yourself that you don't even realize that Lenny and Sunshine aren't in their beds. You're just kind of engrossed in trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
That you have you haven't even put it together yet that you have people that are missing.
Being completely taken aback by this and unable to determine through my knowledge of nature what phenomenon this is, could I then make an arcana check to determine if there's some sort of magical effect that
Sure.
was persisting here as I still ponder this for myself? 16.
So with a 16, you're with your scientific mind and the way that you work, you are pretty certain that you're correlating correctly with the incursion that you guys had experienced previously with the black ring and where the demons had come through.
Mm-hmm.
That you experienced the change in the seasons as the magic in the area was fluctuating and waning in and out of existence.
Yes.
That you were probably in one of those areas.
Great. So knowing that, the first person I would have thought to maybe consult on this would have been Sunshine or Several. So I would look over to where Sunshine typically slept in camp, and
She is not there.
I notice she's not there. So now I'm concerned. I look over to where Lenny would have slept. Same thing. He's not there.
And you know that when you guys went to bed the night previously, that you had secured him to a tree so that way he wasn't going to walk away.
Right. So now my immediate concern was he somehow escaped. Sunshine, in her panic, may have seen it and went off after him. So knowing that we now need to potentially follow some wayward companions, I'll go over to Turby and shake him awake. You still smell of booze, but wake up.
Right. Well. These leaves. I want to immediately start putting the leaves into a pile.
We have no time for that.
No.
Lenny is missing, as is Sunshine.
Maybe he's under these leaves. And then I jumped into the pile.
He should.
All right. Now what?
He shouldn't be under the leaves because we secured him to a tree, if
Did
you
you guys-
remember from last
Did
night.
you guys let me tie him up?
I don't remember who tied him
Right.
up. I was a little busy studying my,
So,
my formula book at the moment. And when I'm knee deep in studying, I cannot focus my attention anywhere else. However,
Oh, yeah.
it would be best if you look maybe for tracks where we did secure him. I believe it was this tree here.
Right.
While you're doing that, I'm going to wake 13 and see what he can suss out with the situation.
All right.
So I would have gone over to 13 and gently shaken him awake. I think this is the first time I remember ever having to wake up my companions myself, so I'm a little nervous. I don't know how they'll react. 13. Wake up.
I'm up.
Several people are missing.
I don't hear combat. What happened?
I don't know. I woke this morning to the disturbance of fall foliage falling on my face.
Which is awesome.
Also, that was
Mm-hmm.
alliteration. I didn't mean to do that.
You're a woman that didn't know it.
I had no idea. There's more to that, but we'll leave that
Yep,
for another
yep.
time.
And it's
But when I looked around, I realized that this is completely unnatural and may relate to the same arcane interferences we faced last time, where the demons were pouring in.
whoa.
Lenny's gone. Sunshine is gone. I look around to where Sivra would have been sleeping.
I was right over there in the same vicinity that 13 was.
Okay. So I would have roused Sivra as well, and briefly kind of gave him a rundown of the situation. Lenny's gone. Sunshine's gone. Maybe after him. Look around you. This is not normal. 13, what do you think of this?
Season changed pretty quickly. I'm
Overnight.
guessing it's reminiscent of the arcane circle that we stumbled into previously.
Indeed, that's my worry. If that's happening again and Lenny's wandered off towards that, he and Sunshine may be in very serious trouble.
Well, he was last we were aware, he was being compelled to head eastward,
Yes.
following the rift. So, I'd say we start there, from wherever he was tied up, looking for any tracks that might be heading east, and then can see about trying to triangulate what's going on with the leaves here and figure out which direction that's going.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've looked around and the entire immediate area is under the same effects. It is definitely autumnal here as opposed to the summer night we went to sleep at. So, are you picking up any tracks over there?
All right, so cutting into Turby here, as you told me about Lenny, I was still putting my pile of leaves together, going towards the Lenny area, but keeping them all together, making a big old pile.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard Sunshine, and I collapsed into the leaves, sprung up. We gotta find Sunshine. Lenny's probably just off in the woods doing his thing.
His morning thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried.
You
But we'll
shouldn't
go
be.
east, I think, and
We should look for eastward tracks because
Right.
that was the way he was compelled to
right. As soon as I did,
ambulate.
leaves all over again, and I'll look for some tracks with a 28.
So, as you look around the area, you definitely see the rope that he was secured to the tree with, and it looks like just from the position that the rope is in, it's still tied, it's still there. You see definite two sets of foot traffic that go east. One looks like they're walking in a very kind of steady pace, and one looks like it's like a hurried kind of longer gait as they may be running.
I would relay that to everybody, but just, was it like, so I saw the tracks where they started to walk and then like another, like it split off or started to
It looks
take
like
off into a
the
run?
tracks that come from the tree
Right.
are the steady paced kind of tracks that are walking at a normal kind of pace, and then you see the tracks that
Okay.
start generally where Sunshine was sleeping that
Okay.
are a longer gait.
Oh yeah, looks like Lenny got out somehow and headed east, and it looks as though Sunshine took off after him for, I don't know why she wouldn't let somebody know.
It's very
Right.
strange. She must have been panicked, but the data does
Must have
support my
been.
hypothesis.
Midnight.
Very, very possible. She may have just, awoken and her, still
This is why we should always have a rotation. Somebody should be up.
watch. Yes.
Well, now that you mentioned that, Sunshine was on the final rotation of who was awake, so
Ah.
she was the final watch, the morning before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. She must have seen him take off and then in a panic take off after him.
All right. Well, so
Well, Sivril, should we head in that
pack it up.
direction or
I think I don't think we have any choice. I think we have to chase after him. Hard telling how long that compulsion is going to last or where it's going to lead him.
All right, we'll catch him in no time with my dwarven stride. So
if those prisoners we ran into yesterday were any indication, he's in for a long-term affliction.
Yeah,
And
the mages in that
Only
jail
getting
cell,
worse.
it was like everybody was just ragged.
Yes, it had driven them to madness.
The only thing I'm concerned about with keeping up is our cart. I don't know that the cart will be able to maintain speed with you.
yeah, that's tough. We got our horse, or I remember like I don't see why not. I don't. Yeah, man, it's up to you guys. You guys want to leave the cart here, or are we taking that, or?
Do we have any valuables that would be unsecured in
I
the
think-
cart if we
I
did
think-
leave it here?
I think the only thing that was in the cart was just extra food rations that
Yeah.
we were packing along.
We're good then.
So
I have what I need.
All right.
What about TB? Is he?
Oh,
Isn't she
he wakes up in his own manner. Okay, he'll be fine. I'll get
I-
him. I'll get him up. We'll get moving.
I
You,
certainly want to leave
you
that
probably
to you.
shouldn't wake him.
I have no intention
Yeah.
of disturbing
Not yet.
your beast.
Yeah. If you were Lenny, maybe. But you're not.
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Barnabas, if you would go through the cart and grab the things that we could easily carry, food-wise, so that we would have things to eat maybe this morning as we travel, and things that we could have, so we wouldn't have to stop.
I think that's a good plan.
And I will.
Is the bag that Lenny had
It was not
In the
on him;
cart?
it was laying in the cart.
perfect? Okay, yes, I'll gather up all the important supplies. That way, we'll be well provisioned for whatever this journey brings us.
Perfect.
I'll go through that process as well, helping you, making sure that we get all of our stuff off the ground and packed up.
Yeah, me too. Looking
I-
particularly for ale.
I remember squeaking my glove, and my hawk comes down, and I kind of chatter at him, and he takes off to kind of scout ahead of
Great idea.
where we're heading. So, is there anything that you guys did that morning that you want to talk about, or as we progress? Because I don't remember anything more drastic as we were leaving camp that morning.
I would have probably needed some time to sit down with my reagents and put together a few
Yeah.
items. And in that time, I would defer to 13 to gather up the
Yes.
supplies.
We can take care of the supplies then.
After I would have found my ale, I'd have been frolicking in the leaves, just
Yeah.
throwing them up a little bit, having a blast.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
no
I
time
don't
for a
know why.
gourmet breakfast this morning.
Big thing for me would be trying to scout the immediate area and seeing if there's any indication in the leaves or if the entire area, because this could go on for miles.
Yeah,
Like we have no idea how far the leaf change is, but if there's something within the time that you're taking to fix up your regents, I'd try to figure that out.
You want to roll me just a basic perception?
25. I
Uh,
stand corrected. 27.
Great. So as you search through the area, you just kind of start in a sequential circle, kind of working around your way around the camp, and you about 60 or 80 feet from the initial set of tracks that go out of the camp. I take it you're being careful not to trample on those.
Yeah.
But they're very clear. It's almost like they walked in mud, or soft earth. You see a set of tracks that looks like they were walking in the same set of tracks veer off to the left.
Interesting. All right, I'll mark that on the map and make sure I inform Turby when I get back.
Other than that, in the amount of time that Barnabas is getting things ready and the time that you have to search before there's some kind of communication that we're going to leave, you just see more and more and more trees that are barren of leaves and this foliage on the ground. You can't see with your own elven sight a tree that has leaves on it. So
I don't think that's normal. It happened pretty quick, guys.
instantaneously. It'd be environmentally catastrophic, I think, to the local flora and fauna to have something this quickly change. This could have long-lasting effects.
Oh, are there still animals in the area? Wilderness sounds.
You do hear animal sounds and the skittering of chipmunks and
Okay,
birds and that kind of thing.
fantastic.
sure.
I'll make sure I communicate that as well.
All right.
All right. So
Eastward.
when we left, we followed the tracks. Obviously, we were following Turby, I imagine.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Following the leader.
Uh, when we got up, was that a separate set of tracks?
Yeah. So you had
We had those
there were
one-
the two distinct tracks that came
Going.
from camp,
right.
and then when it gets about 80 feet from camp, you had a set of tracks that pulled
Went
off
one
from
way.
where Lenny's tracks were,
Yeah.
and
then-
his tracks continued. There was tracks that went left, and then the other tracks also continued with Lenny.
So there's like 3 sets.
3 sets of tracks.
Oh boy.
You want to roll me a
Yeah.
tracking or whatever you use
Right.
for that for me?
Right. 20?
20.
Yep.
So as you are looking at the tracks, you can tell now that you're looking at the 3 sets of tracks that after the tracks on the left veer off, you can distinctly see the shoe print of what Lenny wears moving forward. But as you're looking at the tracks before they split, you
Mhm.
distinctly see the Elven kind of pad flat shoe of
Right.
what Ruby was wearing.
Oh yeah. Oh Ruby.
I was just drawing the parallel. Ruby, Whisper, and Windwalker.
Correct.
All right. So it looks that Ruby and Windwalker went over here, and Lenny, I guess, continued this way with Sunshine chasing.
Interesting.
I assume we want to continue to find Lenny and Sunshine.
Yeah.
Not to sound callous, but that's
I'm
Really what
confident
I'm
that
really
they can
very
take care
concerned of?
themselves.
Yeah,
Right, I think
I'm
they're
100%
fine.
positive they can take
Right,
care of
I think
themselves
they're
for
fine
sure.
over there. We got it notated if we need to come back.
Yep.
So yeah, you following those tracks to the best of my abilities. Just pretty great, by the way.
Awesome. So as you're moving through the area, you walk for probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I take it we're moving at a brisk pace. We're not running, but we're moving as fast as your little dwarven legs let you.
Right,
yes.
20 feet.
Which is blazing speed.
Yes.
Yeah. that's fantastic.
So as we're moving through the area, about an hour and a half into our travels, Turby, I need you to make me another survival roll, please.
27.
27. You know, you hear a sudden, like a low growl kind of sound.
Okay.
With your obvious interactions with TB,
Right.
you know that sounds like some kind of large predator type of animal.
Mm.
Based on just the sound alone, maybe a bear.
I am-
And with your knowledge of nature and the time that it is,
Mhm.
they would be looking to try to stock up on food for the
Right.
winter.
Right.
So you start hearing some definite sounds of predatory animals moving in the area as you are heading east.
And they're the sounds were able to distinguish like exactly like where they were coming from. Were they?
They're not in front of you. They're definitely off the trails that you
Okay.
are walking on.
North.
But
Right.
you can tell that
They're close
naturally,
enough.
if you were walking around in the summertime, you probably wouldn't be
Wouldn't hear
hearing
those.
them.
Yeah.
So, kind of correlating back to Barnabas's point, we can hear the sounds of animals, but they are just as confused, and their anatomy and stuff is getting messed with as well.
Well, I mean, I let everybody know, like definitely hearing these sounds. So let's stay, close together. Don't go too far off this this little line right here, and just as I'm focused in on the tracking, you guys, several 13 definitely keep the eyes out here while we're doing this tracking thing.
I definitely walked with my hand on my blade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like, what's going on? This is
Right. I mean, I am hungry too, so I mean, we could possibly, go get some food.
you're always hungry.
We just ate.
You said we didn't have time for breakfast.
Not a
Barnabas.
gourmet breakfast.
Oh,
but there
okay.
were rations.
Okay, I was very confused about that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have left the
Right.
food on the cart
Right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I
Untouched.
got a little nibble. Got it.
Yeah.
That lasts for about an hour. I'm hungry again.
I understand that. They're not
But
doing
I
that.
keep moving. I
I
keep
toss him
moving down.
another, pack rolled
Little
up.
protein bar. Here you go,
Little-
buddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the opportunity to stealth and
Sure.
follow instead of focusing on tracking.
Yep.
I'll let him do that. That way, if any of us are concerned, like I can try to make sure that we're staying out of sight as best I can.
Do you stay outside of the group while you stealth, or do you stay ahead of the group?
I'd stay a little bit ahead of them.
About how far?
Not too terribly far. Maybe 30 to 60
Sure.
feet.
Um, you
But
know,
I just want to try to point out to the rest of the group, like, hey, trying to move this way,
perfect.
doing what I can to help avoid.
So 13 doing 13 things, throws himself out in the front and begins to kind of scout the area as you're moving through. He is very careful, obviously, as he works with you previously, and that he doesn't walk on any tracks, and he will point out things he finds odd or misshapen about the tracks.
Don't make this more difficult than it already is.
Right. So we continue to walk for another about 2 hours. So we have walked for 3.5 hours now. And we find ourselves still in this late fall area with the trees are just barren and there's just fall foliage on the ground. My hawk has come back and he has essentially ascertained that we are walking in the same. He sees the tracks. He can see the direction that things are going, but he can't see Lenny and he can't see Sunshine. Not that Sunshine's hard to miss with her glowing beacon self.
Right.
But he does say there is a clearing not too far ahead of us that may offer us a wider vantage point and what's coming. So as we approach this clearing, the clear path that we're walking looks like not a cart path or a walking path, but maybe a game trail. Kind of goes through this area. So you're walking on a path that has been walked previously, either by human or by wildlife.
Right.
But it is got a clearing. So we're not like jungle brushing through the forest to clear our way through. So we are able to kind of walk through.
Awesome.
But as we approach this clearing, there is a clear road, cart-driven road that runs east to west.
Nice.
Or sorry, north to south, because we're heading east. So it runs north to south, crossing the game trail that we come to. And as we approach the road, there is a gentleman that is standing, pushing looks to be a not unlike a mobile merchant cart down the road, heading to your guys' right.
So
as you approach the road, he's kind of crossing the game trail in front of you.
Just a single person.
He's got a cart and he's got a little mule or donkey that's probably in the front of it, helping him pull it, because the road is kind of muddy, so it's a little harder to traverse than just like a cobblestone road where he could push it himself. And then he has some barrels and stuff over the donkey, and then he himself, and then he has just stuff stacked up in this merchant cart. So it's just one guy and his cart and donkey kind of heading off down this road.
When I noticed that, I waved a greeting to him and I said, "You there? Oh, traveler."
The guy kind of, well, ho, 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 ho. And he talks out to the donkey and he kind of wipes his head and he turns and he says, looks down this awkward game trail and look, I'm not asking for trouble. I'm just trying to get to the town. I mean, I'm not asking for trouble.
We understand we're not asking for trouble either. We're merely stopping you, number one, to simply give you greetings, and second, to ask if you have seen anyone who fits this description. And then I would have rattled off a brief description of Lenny and Sunshine. Sunshine probably much easier to stand out than maybe Lenny is. No offense, Lenny.
He kind of ponders for a second, and he says, I haven't seen anyone on this trail. I've camped about an hour or two that way last night. I didn't see anyone when I was packing up and walking this morning.
And you've not seen anybody on the road going to or from where you're heading?
Not this morning yet. No, it's still pretty early.
I'm sorry, terribly rude of me. I'm Barnabas Quint. These are my companions here. Several, 13, Turby. What is your name, sir?
My name is Silver.
Silver. Well, it's well met. If you happen to see any of the people who match the descriptions I just gave you, I'm not sure how you could let us know.
Right. Yeah. I was wondering where you were gonna go with that one.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Meet me
you can,
back here, right here at this point, and let us know.
Just hang here. I don't know, Several. Is there something you can tell your hawk to? Is there a way to?
I
use
could
it to
probably keep
communicate
an
with
eye
him?
on him, but
Yeah, then maybe he could. I don't know where I'm going with this. This
We-
is, this
we
is
got-
terrible.
When we got up to the road,
Mhm.
did the tracks continue across and still going east, or
So-
did they start?
so as you hit the road, do you cross the road to go look around, or are you just stopping at the edge of the road where the merchant is?
Well, I mean, I would have took a brief second, right? Well, like Barnabas was already talking to him, I'd be like, I don't know how you're gonna get back in contact
know,
with
this
this
is
guy,
silly.
and then I would have like went on to the other side of the road to see about the. Like I said, we're following these tracks. They were going east. Unless I noticed as we're coming up, they started to like veer.
So as you cross to the other side of the road, you don't see the tracks cross into the mud on the other side of the road.
Okay.
But knowing that, obviously this guy hasn't seen anything, do you look down the sides of the road, or do you look down the directions that he's walking or coming from?
Yeah, I mean, so as I remember, like I said, went over there. If I didn't see those in that general vicinity of where I'm already tracking, I would have. He said, "Oh, okay, I came from up here." I took a glance that way, try to take in, see if I noticed anything out of the ordinary, and then. it would've
So
been that
as you approach the direction that he is traveling, you find that Lenny's footprints were traveling east and then kind of get washed in the kind of cart muddy road.
Right.
But as you kind of look down the road, you can see there's a footprint.
Right.
And then as you look kind of down the road, there's a footprint, and
a little bit more space.
a little more space in between, but they're still there. They just look like they may have been washed through with other things going down the road.
I'd relay. Hey, looks as if I continue down this way.
So he changed direction?
What it seems, I don't know. Maybe whatever it was bringing him to this point. Is the most direct route. I don't.
Did you spot any sign of Sunshine's trail?
Did I?
You can tell.
Yeah, I figured I would.
Yep.
'cause,
You can see-
I'm looking at. I'm already tracking both of them.
You know what their shoe prints look like. You can
Right.
tell that. I mean, you're not seeing the succinct tracks anymore, but
Right.
you're like, oh, there's one of hers, and
But it's still
that's one of
it's
his, and-
just a little bit scattered because
Yep.
of said trail that we're on now. It's a little bit harder to keep with how muddy and loose this ground is.
Yeah, the terrain's not very conducive to.
And I
to
assume
tourists.
he might not be the first person to come down this road today. Might be, who knows? But it looks decently traveled.
It's very strange that he changed directions. If he was compelled to go east, perhaps something either within him temporarily suspended the affliction, and he was able to change directions. But why he would go that way, I don't know. maybe lost, or something corralled him that way. Do you have signs of anything else in that direction at the same time?
You can see there's definitely cart trails and horse trails, and like I said, it's definitely a worn road. There's definitely lots of travel. Like I said, it's just early at this point that you don't see the foot traffic on the road just yet.
Without like the prior knowledge of knowing that they were abducted, let's say, like I really can't make it out. It's, like I said, it's a pretty well traveled road. I can pick up Lenny's and Sunshine's tracks, but besides that, there are other tracks, but I don't know if that's what caused them.
Yes, we
Doesn't
wouldn't
look
want
like
to
a sign
assume.
of struggle, I guess.
Sure.
Would Silver be offended, sir? Would you mind if we just tagged along with you? That way you can continue about your business and we can walk and talk.
I would enjoy the company. It's, Betsy doesn't really say a whole lot.
I definitely hear some squeaking as I look over at Silver.
Correct.
Is Betsy upset by the presence of a massive dire wolf with us?
I think Betsy has the little blinders on.
Oh, good.
That she just kind of looks at the road ahead.
Good.
I don't know that I would let TB get out in front of her, but
Yeah.
I don't know
We
if I
smoked.
control him or not. I just let him kind of do his thing with us, so he knows not to eat Betsy, of course.
Well, that's a start. Yeah. We're
Is Silver a human?
do you stop and kind of check him out?
Yeah, I absolutely would.
So he seems to be an elf. He seems to be a star elf. Based on your quick observation up and down of him. He's dressed very, very nice. He has kind of merchant style clothing on. He's kind of got a traveling cloak with his hood up, covering most of his ears, but you can kind of glance under there and see the pointed ridges of his ears, and you could see his blonde hair kind of coming out from underneath the cloak. How close do you get when you are kind of checking him out?
Just conversational distance.
Like within arm's reach?
Yep.
So as you're kind of checking him out, you just kind of, as he speaks to you, you kind of notice that he's got one green eye and one blue eye.
Ooh.
Another consideration. There's a bunch of things going on in my head right now. One big one is, as far as the tracks are concerned, did it ever look like Sunshine was able to catch up with Lenny, and they're walking at the same speed, or was she always trying to catch up?
You can tell before they get to the road that the tracks kind of sync up.
Okay. And then another big question on my mind is the leaves that, as we've been walking away from the cart, have the leaves consistently been that same autumn kind of...
Correct.
Okay. So this is just massively huge.
It's possible then that she caught up to him, snapped him out of whatever affliction was causing him to continue to walk, and realizing that they maybe were completely lost now,
Yeah.
just followed this road.
Causation.
Yeah, science.
Hypothesis right now, but yeah. Potentially.
I remember thinking too, like, I assume, as he's looking at the elf and all that stuff, I'd probably try to take into kind of figure out, hey, what is this guy? We don't normally see this race of elf. that often, right? I would be
Yeah.
talking kind of to 13.
The last one that we encountered was the archaeologist,
Oh yes.
and like as far as we're aware, the star elves themselves are largely extinct from the war with the sun elves.
Good, good. I just wanted to make sure I'm not. Hey, Silver, man, where are you from? There's not many of your elf race out here.
Oh, see,
Sorry, I know this is a touchy subject.
my 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 hometown was kind of demolished. Its name is lost in history, but we called it Avast. As a matter of fact, most scholars can't even tell you where it was. And as he starts to kind of speak to you, I want you guys to look at your card that says gut feeling number 1. And as he's explaining his history and where he comes from in this lost city, he's speaking to you, and though he may be directing his attention to Barnabas when he speaks, or to 13 when he speaks, or to Turby when he speaks, you just get this feeling that when he speaks, he's speaking to you. He's very charismatic, and he has this kind of like snake oil salesman kind of probably could sell you anything if he wanted to. But you can tell, like, as he's speaking of himself and his history and things that he knows, his voice and his tone changes to this kind of like, I'm very certain I know my history, and you just kind of get this sense that he's like not commanding like in an army, but he commands attention. And it may be why he's a successful merchant, you would imagine.
I want to take a quick look over at Several and see how he's responding to this guy.
I remember that I was looking at this guy, and I remember that I was more interested in what was on his cart, and he was talking to me, and clearly I was kind of enamored to listen. But I found myself, I'm more interested in what he's selling as a star elf. What does he have? What is he doing? Why is he here? So I found myself I looked him up and down and going that route, but I largely was disconnected to the conversation and more interested in what was kind of floating around the cart.
I'll make sure that we get all of the Elvish books if he has any.
Correct. So yeah, he's like, well, do you want to continue to walk together, or we can? Clearly, do you have? I mean, you can. If you have things, you can throw it on the cart, and Betsy can pull it if you don't want to carry the load.
No matter to me if we walk together. I'm just.
This load isn't that heavy.
Yeah, I
sling
prefer
the pack over my shoulder. We'll be
Sure.
fine.
I would be interested in kind of getting an idea of what trade route he's walking. Like, I'm not too terribly worried about names, just making sure that I've got him on the map. But like, where is he coming down from?
You pull your map open. So you pull your map open, and he kind of glance. You see him glance. He's glancing at your map, and he's like, "Oh, that's very detailed. Are you a cartographer?"
Amateur. But yeah.
Oh well, you do wonderful work. And he reaches in to the cart side, and he pulls out a giant map, and he
right on.
opens it up, and he says, I too kind of dabble in points of interest in the area."
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to try to hurry and rush and make notes of what I can.
Oh, well, that's, and he rolls it up and he's like, oh, that's, my information is not free, young man. And he sticks it back in the cart.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was protected.
Oh, everything has got a price.
Okay. Do you want me to erase that?
No, it's, consider it on the house for the cordial welcome in the company as we walk to the town.
Oh, fantastic.
I made sure I folded the map for you.
Cheers.
Yes.
So what you gathered on the map was this road that he has found himself on. He has it labeled
Mhm.
as it's just the pathway.
Okay.
And you see the direction in which he is traveling had a giant rectangle kind of colored in dark,
Mhm.
and then a triangle, and it says the city.
All right.
That doesn't feel not very helpful.
As Silver was saying, like all types of information are powerful.
Oh, of course. I mean, when you've lived as long as I have, you tend to find the information is more powerful than the gold coins you carry in your pocket.
Well, and that's one of the big takeaways that I've learned from Cyril. He's been trying to help me learn more about the elven culture, and there's you'd mentioned earlier that there's a number of historians that no longer have access to this information. Well, with elves, just learn straight from the person who is there.
I remember I was nodding, and it's almost verbatim with the way he taught you. Is it's, you know, as a human learns a skill, he only has 70 years to learn the skill, or 60 years, and then it has to be passed on to an apprentice. When an elf has lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes to hone the skill, and sometimes it's better to go to the source. And well said, well said. So
I look over at Silver beaming with pride.
he just nods. I'm just, of course. So he just kind of gestures. Are we to travel together?
I mean,
I
yeah.
think there is safety in numbers. We should all be careful.
Very well. Would you like? I can lead if you'd like. If it, or I could,
Turby, I defer to you.
or we could walk together. I mean, whatever makes you comfortable. I was heading this way to begin with.
I mean, he seems to know the route. Obviously, I mean, what would it you said, you know, the coin or whatever. What would it cost for some of that useful knowledge of yours?
What are you
Well,
after?
as we walk, of course.
What are you after? What are you after?
What are you after?
Oh,
Like, I don't.
as far as information,
Yeah.
well, I know Cyril would be interested in the books that you have.
Oh. Silver kind of looks over at Cyril and just kind of gives him a kind of a one up and down and says, he's not interested in the books that I have. He kind of looks around the lot of you and he says, I don't think any of you are interested in the books that I have.
Now I'm doubly curious.
Plus, that doubles the price, doesn't it?
Earlier, when Silver had mentioned the city he was from, it no longer exists.
Correct.
He named it. You said it was Avast?
Correct.
Does that ring a bell to any of the archaeological sites that I met you guys at? You guys.
Not that you could put your finger on. It doesn't seem to be the similar area that we all gathered together.
Yeah, I just pondered that for a moment and then shook my head and shrugged. More internal thought process.
I remember falling back a little bit to let Silver, you know, take the lead as he so was inclined to do,
Sure.
and trying to hold the 13 back just for a second and be like, I don't know about this dude. Like maybe we should watch what we're telling him.
Okay.
It seems like he's right. He wants that money, wants whatever it is. So like, let's be a little bit more lock and key on what we're telling him.
Okay.
And then I go back into my dwarven stride after relayed that message to 13.
I actually, but I pull you back. I wouldn't mind, Barnabas. Maybe you guys could group up real quick. I want to pull out this other map that I was working on, and from our adventures, separate of Silver.
Sure.
But just from our adventures, when we were in the ruins of the Elvish location, there was a map there.
Mhm.
And I'm curious if we can connect any of the points that we saw on his map to the points that were on that map.
So when you pull that map out and you lay it out, are you just like walking with it?
Yep.
And then is one of your other companions holding the other map so you can compare?
Yep.
So on the ancient map, you can see the road that's marked that you are currently walking. I imagine as being a cartographer, your
So
survival skills.
I did my best to make sure that I duplicated the original.
Yep.
And then I don't have the same map. The map that I pulled out earlier was just a quick map of this area.
Correct.
This is like a very much more detailed assessment of all of the stuff that we have so far.
Correct. But you can tell on the map that you have, that's just the quick one.
Mhm.
You obviously didn't have this particular road, but on the ancient map, there is a line that runs. That's an unnamed road,
Okay.
kind of the road that you're on.
And it does seem to match the larger map that he's been working on for
Yes.
who knows how long.
Correct.
Where it goes to, was that annotated on the map? Like where this road leads into?
So you'll see the road, and then it just kind of the road ends. Even in the ancient map, the road just kind of goes, and then the road just stops.
No
So
city.
there's no city, there's no rectangle, there's no nothing else on the ancient map that was there that would afford to translating to this map.
Interesting.
Why would
The
there be a
map's
road
really
to
old.
nowhere?
It doesn't have this new city on there, so that's what I imagine.
You think the city is newer construction?
I don't know. That's what it's a very
not
old
old.
map.
Maybe they built the road out and then decided there was a good spot to build a settlement.
I don't know. I'm feeling like this might be similar to Several's Grove, with the way that we don't necessarily know that it's there, but it's there. This might be even older.
Fascinating.
That's my gut intuition about that.
I mean, I guess there's only really one way to find out.
Exactly. But
Let's explore the path.
as he said,
Hypothesis, and I walk.
keep your cards close to your vest. I'll say kind of under my breath.
All right. So you guys, do you catch back up, or do you kind of keep your distance still from Silver as he's walking this path?
I didn't want to draw too much attention to the fact that we are keeping separate from him. We did say we'd walk with him,
Right.
but at the same time be standoffish.
Cool.
I guess.
I'll be friendly.
Okay. So do you make your way up there and just chatty Cathy with him as your?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to keep with the merchant theme that I had from the last city.
Okay.
I'll just keep on rolling with that.
What do you guys talk about?
It's largely I'm focused on the trade routes for the area. I'm not super familiar with elven culture, so I'm curious in terms of what's the in and outs as far as which places need what. What are some of the political events or current events going on that might be driving that?
He tells you that he is heading to the city to hopefully sell his wares, so that way he can raise enough money to purchase some family heirloomed artifacts that belong to his family that are in the possession of someone else.
Okay. That totally makes sense.
While 13 was inquiring and doing that stuff, I would have tried to sneak a peek at what are his wares.
So what you can see with the cart obviously closed, it's not just randomly sitting there, but as it walks, as the flaps and kind of stuff moves around, you can see that he has looks to be like a very ornate kind of elven necklace, kind of hanging on one of the poles of what would be the cart stands. That looks like it's kind of just swaying in the wind. Has like a little clasp on the end, not too unsimilar to Sivral's necklace. It looks like maybe it probably held a gem or a jewel or maybe a locket or something to that sense. You see a very ornate looking dagger that is kind of very, very old craftsmanship laying on the first platform of the table. Like if you were to open the card up, it would be there. You could see it.
Okay.
And then you see general traveling clothes, merchant clothes. You see books that are bound into a group. There's leather books. There's hide bound books and stuff like that are kind of all together. But they're kind of being held in by some twine, like they've been tied in place so they don't fall over while he's traveling. You see lots and lots and lots of just like old looking jewelry. And you see a very, very old, ornate looking walking stick kind of in a holder that's along the backside of the cart. And that's kind of all you can see as you're walking through the area.
I don't think I really want that walking stick. We do a lot of walking out here. It'd really be helpful. But I'm not gonna.
So Silver is chatting with you. Where are you heading? Are you heading into the city?
The city. City.
What business? You don't look like merchants. So what business do you have in that
No,
city?
but we've got our own set of friends that we're looking to visit. I'm going to start mixing in some details as far as what Lorna had shared with me, intentionally getting some of the facts that I recall from that incorrect to try to mix in some opportunities to catch him in a lie.
Okay. What are you intentionally leaving out?
So
or changing?
As far as the Star Elves are concerned and the relationship with the Sun Elves, I'm going to play games with how all of those events unfolded for us and see if I can see any sense of frustration or animosity or anger in him.
So as you speak on the conversation, I mean, he'll entertain your conversation. Well, I can tell you for sure that if I didn't need to buy my precious heirlooms back that belong to my family, I wouldn't be heading to a Sun Elf city to sell my wares. This just happens to be the place that I know I will fetch the greatest amount for the items that I have. So, I have no love lost. I could really do without them.
I suppose that makes sense.
Very well. As you guys walk, you just continue to have basic kind of chatter. You can see that you are walking up kind of a steady incline for the next probably 10 or 15-ish minutes. The road just kind of goes up. But you can feel as you climb, there's a wind that is kind of picking up in the area. Like the crisp autumn breeze is blowing through this walkway, like the wind is coming down this road. He says, "Well, this is the hard part of the walk. Betsy's going to have to hoof it a little to get the cart up the hill. So I'm going to push from my end, and if you guys would, it may take me longer to get up the hill than you want to walk. So I'm just letting you know this. the rough part of the walk. And he just kind of goes to the back of his cart and starts kind of pushing the weight of the cart while Betsy is pulling the weight of the cart up the hill.
It's up to you guys.
I'm okay continuing on.
Yeah, once we got a little bit ahead of him, I would turn to 13 and I asked him, do you know? You said we don't know what the name of the city is. We don't even know if there's a city at the end of this road. But he said it's a Sun Elf city.
Yeah, that was one of the details I
Heading to.
picked out. Yeah.
So are you aware of any Sun Elf settlements this way?
No.
Several? Were you?
I really don't get up this way.
Perhaps in any of my reading, would I know with the society, maybe?
Yeah, you can definitely try.
Could always
You can always try.
23 for society.
You know there is a very profitable trade route that runs kind of in this area
Mm-hmm.
for essentially luxury items.
Okay. Recalling that, I would have turned to 13. I know you mentioned some interest in understanding the trade routes here. There is a sort of a path here for trade in luxury goods. Were you aware of that?
No.
may
The
very well
information I
be.
get is typically from merchants such as this gentleman, and stuff like that tends to be kind of closely guarded.
Yeah, maybe it's more exclusive. Yeah, and with the like you said, closely guarded with the rarity of the wares they're moving along this route. Maybe they want to keep it as secret as possible.
All right. So as you guys finish your conversation, you approach the top of the hill. I need everybody to make perceptions, please.
Of course.
14.
18.
30.
Whoa.
Okay. With a 30, you're standing on the top of the hill. You can absolutely look across and you can see fall foliage trees as far as your elven eyes can see from the top of this hill. So whatever is impacting this area is widespread. And as you are standing on the top of the hill and you're looking kind of down the path that you're about to walk, in your mind, it goes back to your map. And there's a giant rectangle, and then there's the triangle where the city is. And as you're standing from the hill, you can look down and you can see a very rectangular shape. And as you look past the rectangle in the far distance, you can see a walled city. And as you, with a 30, and as you guys approach the top of the hill, even with a 14, you can 100% obviously see the trees, and you can see the rectangle shape below, but you just can't quite make out the city. You're familiar with knowing what walls, cities, and stuff look like in the distance, even when surrounded by trees. That you can see that there is a city or some kind of establishment off in the distance. And as you direct your attention down to this rectangle, you can see that this is a massive cemetery.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, dear.
Do you guys continue to walk, or do you stop and kind of take all this in?
I'm loving this. Like, don't get to see views like this very often.
It is fascinating, but one thing that's curious, if this is an elven city, why the need for a cemetery? Don't
Oh,
elves, when they die, what happens with their bodies? I guess I never understood that. I mean, I know their soul goes into the crystal's brought to their home tree. I took part in one of those ceremonies. It was by far one of the most fantastic things I've experienced, but what happens with the bodies?
you know what?
Simple?
We bury them.
Well, now I feel stupid. Please carry on.
Right.
Well, welcome to how I feel
but
around
that's-
wolves.
I just don't know the culture as
I
well.
don't either.
Yeah.
But that's us. We bury them, and then I believe the Sun Elves, I think they cremate them.
Oh,
And I think there's different rituals for different elves.
I see.
It's kind of just kind of in the basic understanding that as a wood elf, I want to be returned to the earth. As a sun elf, they're kind of returned to the air and the kind of the. I'm really not sure about that particular part, but I know that we bury our dead.
I nudged Turby. What about dirt elves?
Yeah, what's the dirt?
I assume they're buried.
Yeah, in the mud.
In the,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah, that
under stone.
totally makes sense. Could it be this that we're looking at an ancient star elf cemetery? Then, if it's a sun elf city, there it wouldn't make sense to have a cemetery.
So as you guys are standing having this conversation, the cart crests the hill,
Of course,
Yeah.
great.
and
I was about to hollow down anyway, but
Silver says, "Ah."
Well, now I feel bad.
And he just kind of looks at the cemetery and lets out a very kind of longing, a kind of exasperated sigh. Well, I
Silver, what do you do with your, like, what are the, what is it, the
Star
star
elves.
elves? What do you guys do with your, when you die? Bury, what do we do?
some are encased in mausoleum type structures. Some are buried. It just really depends. Ancient Star Elf societies believed that you were closer to the gods when you were in the earth, and some believed that you yourself were gods because of the knowledge that we contained, and that's kind of where the idea of casting them in mausoleums became, because it was something you would see at a great distance, something that could be honored and revered.
Interesting.
So that's not star elf.
There are star elves in there for sure.
Hmm.
There are all manner of elves in that graveyard there.
Sounds good to me. Oh,
There's some subtext there.
Well, I don't mean to pester you with my business, but what I am after is very much
that quote is-
in
Well
that
done.
graveyard.
graveyard. The man who cares for that graveyard is a caretaker of. He's the caretaker of the crystals that my family adorn, and they were since cast onto not our tree. And I'm traveling to the city to sell my wares to potentially, and he kind of starts getting emotional, to potentially buy back
Your
the crystals that my family is encased in to take them home.
That doesn't sound right.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that wasn't right during the war.
Fortunately, I've gotten myself in enough trouble with the caretaker that the guards of the area have asked her, maintained that I not go in that graveyard and leave him alone. So my plan is to sell my wares and then find someone who can negotiate the trade for myself for the items that are inside. This has been an ongoing battle with my family.
Well, if we weren't in the process of trying to deal with, all the stuff that's going on recently, like I'd absolutely want to do whatever I could to help you. I I feel for you.
Well, I appreciate your Your sentiment.
Maybe possible that our goals align anyway, because we need to check if Lenny and Sunshine may have wandered into that graveyard
Yeah.
instead of the city. Hard to tell at this point. Maybe we could pick their tracks up again as we approach.
Well, I'm heading to the city, so I hope that we meet again. I suppose. I don't know if you're heading to the city or if you're heading to the graveyard or where you're heading. I'm unsure.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure either.
Of course. Well, I'm heading down the hill, and this is obviously the easiest part of the ride. So,
I see you in a little bit.
of course, and he starts down the hill.
And then after he gets a little bit ahead, I was like, whoa, I understand we got other things going on and, tend to do some loopy stuff as I do. But he's got that crazy good map. I don't want no gold for it, right? So what if we helped him? You think he'd give us some of that knowledge that he holds on to? Just a thought.
It's a very reasonable deduction.
Brilliant, actually.
Science.
There is a little bit of science to
Yes.
it. We just
Freaking thanks, Barnabas.
Yeah.
And then I want to roll.
That look when Dad agrees.
did. So it could be then once we determine where the tracks go.
I believe.
We
I mean,
meet
I
up with them
obviously
again
would have been
and-
keeping an eye out for the tracks and everything.
They're
And
yeah.
they're
they
heading
go-
down the road,
Right.
and you can
So we're
obviously
Still
you know.
towards the city.
Yep.
you're still definitely too far away to see where they go down the road, but
Right.
you can definitely tell they're still heading that
Right.
direction.
Yeah, we're still on with that.
Well, you want to catch back up to him and propose your plan?
I already forgot what I said.
I think priority was making
I
sure we
blacked out.
secured it.
I hope it was a good
It was the reach
correlation.
of blood to the brain overwhelmed you at that moment. I understand it. It happens.
You guys want me to roll down the hill and stop him? I probably could get down there pretty quickly.
I just don't know that it aligns with our duty to find Lenny and Sunshine.
Yeah, that's where my focus is.
But he's going that way. We're going that way.
Maybe we just tell him that's our plan, and then once we secure Lenny and Sunshine,
I don't like telling him that. I don't want to tell him
That's a good
much.
point.
I know. This is
Torn.
a hypothesis.
It is sort of like one
And
of
then
those.
I'm
Are you guys
confused.
walking down the
Ye-
hill, or are you just standing at the top still as he's walking down the hill?
Yeah.
I think we were kind of still making our way.
I would have started moseying.
Roll me perception checks.
Ah,
The hell?
killed it.
31.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
28?
29.
Is any roll me Arcana?
Oh, okay.
Kirby, roll me a survival for me, sir.
For Arcana is a 30.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that die
You
handy.
you better put that one on special lockdown.
Right?
27.
Star tonight.
27. Okay, so as you guys are standing there having this conversation, Barnabas, you're chatting and something kind of catches kind of the corner of your eye, and it's kind of like it looks to be like a flare or a flash across the sky, and it's enough that your conversation is interrupted and your
Yeah.
head kind of shifts to what the heck that was.
Absolutely, yeah.
Turbin, with your survival roll, you can tell visibly that it's becoming evening time, and you haven't even been awake for maybe 6 hours.
Huh.
But you can tell that where the sun was originally and where the sun is now,
Right.
it's like you guys have stood in this spot having this conversation for hours.
Holy.
Like hours has passed.
The 9 hells.
I
Do you
guess-
sense that?
Why? I don't feel like our conversation has been taking this long, but it is almost nighttime. This doesn't make sense.
What did that Arcana
you see this solar flare kind of, it looks like a solar flare kind of right across the sky, and you can see it correlates exactly with the sun moving in place. So it's like you were standing still and the sun was here, and then like that, the sun goes, and you were catching the sun move in that flash.
Wow. Okay. So I get the sense that some extremely powerful magical force has
Correct.
pushed time forward,
Or slowed it down, and then you've just snapped out of it.
just caught up. There are some very strange temporal anomalies happening here, which may coincide with that the same kind of portal we've run into. Time is messed up, Turby.
Okay. Very
Oh.
temporal.
Temporal anomalies. Yes.
Okay.
Weird time.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It shouldn't be nighttime.
No, it should not be nighttime. This is extremely
We were like
unnatural.
5 fingers just a second ago, and now we're like that to like the sunset. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very precise unit of measurement, the finger.
Yes.
A lot of songs about that. We'll move on. Other things.
You
But he's not here.
you also
Sure, he
you
knew.
also notice that Silverl
Silver.
Silver is still in the descent down the hill. So whatever was affecting you guys
Global.
was obviously also affecting him as well. So it's not like he just flashed and was gone.
Yeah. Okay. So perhaps everything in the region is experiencing the same temporal disjunction,
That would
Um,
explain the leaves.
time snap.
And as you
Could.
stand at the top of the hill, you see the sconces on the outside of the graveyard.
Oh boy.
That's impressive. Would it be normal to have kind of some magical items that would automatically light up when the sun goes down?
It could be that. Could be cantrip spells that are being cast in repetition to light the spells by.
Okay, like a street lamp lighter.
Yep.
Moving down. Yeah.
I really wish Callie would have been able to share more with me before she left. Well, start heading down.
That's pretty cool how the graveyard did that.
So as you guys come down the hill, Silver has set his cart up kind of right at the exit of the graveyard and has stopped his progress toward the city.
But
he kind of looks longingly into the graveyard and says that he will rest here for the evening until the sun returns for him to continue into the city, because he knows he can't enter that city while it's dark. They close the walls, don't allow anyone in.
Well, great. That means we're at a dead end as well. So it seems that this temporal disjunction may have put us in a position to help him after all.
Kirby, roll
Right.
me survival.
I just had to fail. 12.
Is that a 1?
No,
Okay.
it was
All right.
close though.
So even with the 12, you can see it looks like the tracks go into the city, and then you see a very similar set of footprints coming out of the city, going into the graveyard, and then going out of the graveyard and into the city.
Yeah, I mean,
And you also, based with your survival, the city is much further of a travel than the 6 hours that elapsed. Probably with your perception, that's probably a day's worth walk or more.
So these are Lenny's tracks you're seeing doing this?
it's just tracks in general, right?
They're Lenny and Sunshine
Wendy and Sunshine.
going in and out.
All right, so they've made this journey to the city, back out, graveyard, back
That's
to the
impossible.
city, in the amount of time that we've been. It must be
At the very least, at the amount of time you've been pursuing them.
right.
Like,
Well, perhaps if time has snapped forward quickly, time was normal for them. Maybe the city is protected from these temporal anomalies, these
Well,
weird times.
there's
Kirby?
so many questions because when we first woke up, it had to have been maybe a couple hours that we were behind them. The the tracks were still fresh.
Yeah.
And we were able to follow them all the way to the road. There was, as far as I could tell, anyways, I'm no expert, but as far as I could tell, there wasn't really a lot of wear on the tracks. Like, normally, with a change in time like that, you'd be able to see the progression of weathering. As it moves out, the tracks get old.
I would agree, but I would put forth that the time snap we just experienced pushing us forward just happened when we crested the hill and was observing the city. So in that time that we snapped forward, time could have been moving normally for them, and they would have been given the at least 6 hours, I'm guessing by my estimate, or 2 to 3 fingers by Turby's measurements, of going back and forth.
See, I was thinking we might have been hit by it even before that. And that's why the leaves are a different color.
You guys are making my headstones hurt.
Yeah,
L for this.
I'm starting to feel it as well. This is
It's not normal. That's all I know.
Are you having this conversation right here in front of Silver?
oh man, I guess
I wouldn't have wanted to, but I mean,
close. But yeah, we did catch up to him, didn't we?
I have noticed that the trees are definitely odd for this season. It's strange for sure. Nothing I haven't seen before, but
When did you see this before?
Oh, there's plenty of magics that can do amazing things.
But on this scale, on this
Oh no, not on this scale. Clearly,
massive scale.
clearly not this size. This is far out of mortal reaches and hands, for sure.
see.
I
Well, it
don't know.
would seem that this anomaly is it may be fortuitous for everyone here because we have no way into the city.
Clearly not. They board that place up tight.
Out of curiosity, do you happen to know which gods might be responsible for things like this? As far as the sun or the seasons?
Oh, I don't dabble in those realms, at least not in personal realms of the gods. That's not my business.
I was just curious who you might have to pray to
Oh,
for something like that.
I would clearly pray to ELVEN. He's the master of the elves, right?
Right.
But
Or maybe Yunko?
Oh, sure.
it may be possible that the gods are doing this without the request of mortal souls. That their whims and fancies take them in all directions, and we just suffer the consequences. And
But
this may be one of those instances.
I suppose if you were a religious type, and I'm not one of those, but you could have maybe the primal mother.
Okay.
So
Well, in the meantime, it still feels like lunchtime to me.
Who's Primal Mother? Okay.
I have no idea.
Easier question, Silver. And I remember I was getting into like the back of his cart too. I was, what? You got any ale in here?
oh no.
And as I'm looking in there, I wanted to take a quick look.
I don't carry any of those things.
I was already in.
Could you get out of my cart, please? Out of my cart, please.
Can I see anything in that split second?
You can see the things that
You already explained.
you already explained, and you can see a very intricate looking tankard
No.
that is of elven make, and it is unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Drink time.
Right.
Wow. You guys like the ultimate.
I
drug
would have
dealer.
definitely, even though he was like, no, 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 no. As I'm in, I would have reached for the tank and be like, what's this then?
Well, that was my father's cup.
Is it good for drinking the healing ale?
I imagine it's good for drinking anything. It's a cup.
That's still a formula in development. I haven't quite perfected the recipe yet, but I'm working on it.
All right.
Uh,
It's empty, I assume.
Can I have that back, please?
I look in it. Is there ale in there?
No.
Okay, so I give it back to Silver.
And as you kind of exchange of goods with him,
Yes.
his eyes kind of glint like the very corner of his eyes kind of light, and he just kind of takes the cup back from you and then sticks it back in the cart.
Do we notice that as well?
If you're right there, he's not anything that hides. It's just he as you're exchanging goods with him, it just kind of flashes in his eyes.
Recall knowledge. Have I encountered anything like that before?
You have not seen anything like this.
Okay.
Oh, that's get a little tinky
You
when you're out there.
roll me an appraisal or whatever you would roll for appraisal there.
Can do. It's crafting.
Yep.
22.
To the best of what you could recall, it's kind of a automatic as he's exchanging goods or things are exchanging in his hands. It's what's that worth? What's this worth? What can I get for this?
Okay.
Huh.
That's a neat little ability.
So he kicks out the side of his cart and he kind of throws his bedroll on the side of it and says, "I will going to set up shop here. If you find yourself with time before the sun goes down, if you would help elf in distress with his family, maybe you could speak to the caretaker since we're here and see what."
That was actually Turby's idea. While we were on the top of the hill, he tossed out the suggestion that we might be able to work with you in terms of bartering for information that you had on your map.
Just so you know, Silver, it's called science. And that's what Turby does.
Well, I will assure you this. In your travels, through speaking to the caretaker, if you find anything that you deem exquisite or worthy or interesting, I would make it worth your while. And if you happen to go about speaking to the caretaker, my family name is Vantas. So we're looking for the Vantas family crystals.
And what is your name? Silver Vantas?
Right.
Fantastic.
That was my father's name, was surname Vantas.
Where can we find this caretaker?
Oh, you'll find him. He's the only being in the graveyard that's living.
So are there unliving?
I've not seen unliving in
Okay.
there.
Okay, it's a very good question. Very
And I'm
discerning, fine line.
and I'm also on the hunt for my mother's. Amnola is her surname from her family. My research has led me to believe that they are laid to rest in this graveyard.
Alrighty.
And with that, I think we're going to take our break. And we'll be back with part 2 of Soul Sever.
Yes.
We will.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Welcome back. I want to once again invite all of you on December 19th to Books and Brews in Brownsburg, Indiana. And if you join us on YouTube, and that is the way that you normally watch Elite Encounters, I implore you to come and watch us on Twitch on Tuesday at 6 p.m. and join the live chat room where you can get all of the lore and all of the backstory and all the things that you may feel like you're missing. Come check us out and get caught up with the story. But we're going to zoom right back in to where we left ourselves off as the group was talking to Silver, and he was pleading with them to go have a conversation with the caretaker of the massive graveyard that they stood in front of.
Yes.
And as he was settling himself down to rest for the evening before he headed off into the city.
Yeah. So I don't know. As far as approaching the caretaker, I guess we could say that we're representatives of the Adele Estate Museum.
You said Adela? State?
Adele. She was the benefactor for the archaeologist.
Oh, right. Yes, I remember now. Perfect. I'll use that. I'll see if I can't pass myself off as a.
You definitely have the persona for it.
I'll certainly do my best. So we made our way towards the cemetery to try and seek out is there a caretaker's house or a gatehouse that we can try to track this guy down.
Basically, you walk in to probably what is the most massive graveyard you've probably ever seen. Even large human settlements don't seem to put together this size of graveyards. You have a stone cobble walkway that generally kind of enters into the front, what would be like the walled cemetery. And then after merely 10, 15 feet, it just turns into fields of grass and grass and grass and tombstones upon tombstones upon tombstones laid out into this graveyard. There doesn't seem to be a worn path or a walkway or a footpath or anything in here that looks very well traveled. But you do see, as you're standing, about, I don't know, probably 120, 200 feet in front of you, you see a one of those shepherd crooks kind of stuck in the ground with a lantern hooked, hanging on it.
This may be our man here. Let's head that way. So yeah, we would have made our way towards that lantern. See if we can't locate that caretaker.
Perfect.
I'm going to do my best to try to mimic some of the behaviors that I recall. What was his name? Mark, Matthew, whatever the assistant was, and I'll try to be his assistant.
Okay. So as you are you guys just kind of walking in? Are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just walking in, kind of letting your presence be known naturally? Are you hollering out? What's the approach here?
I remember just boldly walking right towards the lantern as if I belong here.
Okay.
And that I have a purpose here, and there's every reason for me to be here and carry out what I wish to do.
Perfect. You get probably within 40, maybe 60 feet, and you hear the obvious sounds of a shovel and fresh dirt being dug. And as you kind of approach, you see the and dirt kind of coming up.
Oh, look out!
Out of the hole.
So it appears that someone is actually in the ground,
Correct.
digging a grave. So they're currently not visible. At that point, I would call out so that I don't startle them. Hello there. Good sir, we are here. Could you? I hate to interrupt, but
Oh,
could we-
give me a second. I've got to.
Here, do you need help?
Oh, that'd be great. And this hand reaches up and grabs a hold of your hand. It's covered in dirt and mud, and he latches onto your side, and you can see just old like scars and wounds and things that kind of trail up his arm as he kind of latches onto your hand, and he says, "Oh, well, thank you. My old back it's hard getting in and out." And he kind of pulls, and as you pull, he's stronger than he looked for a older gentleman. And he pulls himself up and he says, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm covered in my work, but what can I do for you?"
Yes, you're perfectly fine. It's to be expected. I am Professor Barnabas Quint. I've come from Dromathan, from the Adele Estate Museum. I'm here on very important business for our museum curator. We are here to acquire certain heirlooms of a couple of particular families that the museum is interested in curating their artifacts. If you don't mind, I know this is an odd time, but we would love to be able to have access to these particular tombs or mausoleums, and we'd also like guidance to them, if you don't mind. If you could tell my assistant here, Martin, where we need to go to acquire these, we would certainly appreciate it.
You can tell as you're speaking to him, he's kind of grasping on every word that you're saying, like his brain is kind of analyzing everything that you're saying.
I'm sweating.
And he's
Yeah.
kind of looking you up and down, and he kind of looks. You mentioned Martin, and he kind of looks and kind of turns his head, and he says, "Well, Martin, what kind of artifacts bring you all the way out here?" And with that, you can open up your next gut feeling.
Oh, crap. The artifacts that the museum is seeking out in particular are the soul crystals of two particular families.
Oh. Let me guess.
Are the crystals here?
Of course the crystals are here. Where else would they be?
Wasn't sure. Generally, they're given to the families or taken to the tree.
You spoke to
Silver.
Mr. Vanta.
Yes, we did.
It's an odd coincidence that is one of the families that the museum is interested in procuring artifacts for.
Hey, this guy, he's a dirt elf, man. Like, look at him. You've never seen one, but you know you've seen one.
I'm going to actually praise him. A dirt elf.
I'm not sure what a dirt elf is, but I am definitely a half elf.
Science.
And I feel, excuse me, I have a hard time with my eyes. And he kind of, you see him kind of messing, and he has, as you look now, he's kind of adjusting what looks to be a glass eye and kind of turning it so that it's not awkwardly kind of like just floating in.
Oh. Mildly creepy.
So you were put up to what? Come in here and ask me for the crystals that belong to the family?
Yes. That did happen, and
Yes, that's
is
correct.
that okay?
So I thought you were you
Well-
were from the establishment.
Well,
Are you not with them?
I mean, yes.
Oh,
Bodyguard.
I see.
Right, yeah. Please don't listen to the hired help. He's here mainly for muscle.
And I'm pretty good at muscle things.
That is true.
Well, I'll tell you this. What did you say your name was? Old age.
Barnabas Quint.
Professor.
Yes, Professor Barnabas Quint.
Right. Would you care to give an old man a hand?
What is it that you need?
Well, you're an archaeologist, are you not? You're working for the archaeological museum.
Yes.
On
yes,
behalf of Lady Lorna.
So clearly you don't mind getting your hands dirty.
Not at all.
Come on down. Come on down.
Into the grave.
the grave.
Oh, certainly.
Yep.
Gotta awkwardly climb down in there with him.
And he hands you a shovel.
Okay.
Do you?
What is it?
I don't think Barnabas has ever done this before.
What is? Shh. You go fetch the digging tools.
Yes, sir.
As you guys leave, roll me perceptions.
I mean, not too bad.
My dice is on fire.
All right,
Oh boy.
21 for my
21. Turby, you see etched in the gravestone that already exists in the plot that Barnabas has climbed into the name U. E-H-U. And you see a set of cupped hands like this out front. And there are, looks to be 2 necklace chains kind of hanging over the fingers of the cupped hands. 13, you have no idea what you are fetching the digging tools.
No, let's go.
Mumble under my breath. This was a terrible idea.
So
what is it we're digging here?
oh, you're digging a grave.
Oh, perfect. That must mean apply the shovel mechanisms here. Start digging away.
So tell me, what
Yeah.
do you know of this graveyard if this is where you were sent?
My understanding is that there are numerous elves of various sub-races and ancestries buried here. Star elves, there may be some sun elves even buried here. What I do know is that the 2 families we are interested in are also buried here. They are direct relations of, well, the person that you've already named Silver. Look, I'm not an archaeologist.
So why don't you start from the beginning and tell me why you're here? Come on now, get out of the hole. And he he kneels down and kind of gives you a leg to step on to climb out of the hole.
That's probably good. Do I need to make some
Nope.
kind of athletics?
He will shove you up out of the
Okay,
hole.
so I awkwardly scramble out of the hole and start brushing the dirt off. I don't know where you'd like me to begin. We came here originally looking for some old friends of ours, and we ran into Silver on the road as a merchant, and well, we found ourselves trapped outside the city when night snuck up on us. Did you also experience night coming way too early today?
I always experience night coming way too early. I spend most of my evenings in the graveyard.
Oh,
Do
the
most of
graveyard
my-
shift.
Do most of my work at night.
That would make sense. You don't want night to come.
Yes. Would you care to walk with me?
I kind of furtively glance around. Turby, with me.
Yeah, I mean, I would have. Yeah, definitely.
So as you
13, you can come back.
as you,
There's
as
no
you
need for the
hurry
tools.
back, carrying whatever you would deem digging tools,
I found a bucket
Like a
and
s-
a
like a stick.
garden, a garden rake.
you find yourself reconvening with the gravedigger and Barnabas, who's covered in mud from the knees down, and he kind of has his arm not around Barnabas, but kind of like that in that ushering kind of sense, and he walks you past a row of mausoleums that have kind of dominated the fixture in the middle of this graveyard. And as he crests the corner of this graveyard, there's this ethereal glow in the moonlight that reveals a somber yet mesmerizing, solitary, colossal tree that's standing proudly at the heart of the graveyard. The silhouette, dark against the night sky, serves as a pungent centerpiece. The shadows beneath the branches, you notice gravestones arranged with minimalistic elegance, each one a testament to the passage of elven life. As you gaze ascending towards the tree, the branches are not barren. Instead, they are host of a myriad of radiant crystals, suspended like jewels in a celestial tapestry. The crystals emanate a soft, otherworldly luminescence, creating a gentle glow upon the surroundings of not only just the tree, but you can see now that there's no other light on the inside of the cemetery. So everything that is lit is being lit from the glow of this tree.
Wow.
The entire graveyard seems to pulse with an ancient power that is beyond your recompense. The play of light in the shadows between the gravestones and the luminescent crystals creates a dance of contrast, weaving the narrative both life and afterlife. The elven graveyard stands as a serene testament to the passage of time, where the boundary between the material and the mystical blur, inviting contemplation and the quietude in your life. And he just turns the corner and lets you stand and look at the tree. So he kind of just ushers Barnabas around the corner and just lets him see the tree. And he just stops.
Is this a dawn tree or the dawn tree for the Sun Elves?
This is the very conduit, my son. This is the tree.
Barnabas just stood there with his mouth agape and heard this exchange. What are you talking about, the conduit? What is this?
This is the elven path to the afterlife.
We're all elves.
All elves pass through the tree.
So as any crystal is hung on trees around Eodadri, the souls eventually make their way here.
Right.
That is mind.
Aye, that's a big tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least 5 fingers.
At least 5 fingers.
Like,
As you are standing next to him and close to him, you can see he has the glass eye. You can see that he's got the wounds kind of up his hands, and he looks just generally like he's seen some adventuring, or maybe he's been part of something bad has happened to him. Barnabas, just give me a basic perception.
Well, I'm going to retire that die now.
Cool.
14.
14. It's clear. As he steps behind the mausoleum to the radiant glow of the crystals, you can see where the glass eye is. The lower part of his face has been marred with fire, where there has been like scarring and burns on his face that trail down his face, down his neck, and disappear under the lip of his shirt.
I kind of wince at that and stare at him for a moment. And then back at the tree, just still dumbfounded.
Would it be okay if I approach the tree and touch it, talk to it?
Can't touch that tree.
Okay. I was hoping I might be able to talk to my father.
Oh, you can speak to your father. Your father will hear you, son, but you cannot touch that tree.
Okay.
There's
So
enough.
as you're looking at this tree, it's massive, and you're kind of in shock how you didn't see the tree coming in.
Yeah.
But you're now seeing this, and much like the other elven trees, it's in full bloom. These kind of pink and purple-looking petals for a flowering tree are just constant in the branches. You can roll me a lore elf if you'd like.
Unlikely that I'd know anything, but 12.
You know that the conversations you've had with Sivril, he tells you, and you know that the tree is only in bloom when a soul is passing through it.
Yep. Okay. Speaking of which, I quickly snap over and look to Cyril. I'm curious what's going on with him and his crystal.
The crystal is obviously still glowing. It's kind of it doesn't look brighter, but it's kind of more vibrant looking color. And Cyril hasn't taken his eyes off of the tree.
Yeah, it's just awesome. I have no other word for it. To think that every elven soul passes through this on its way to
That's why
rebirth or afterlife.
that's why it's a big tree. It's probably a lot of elves.
Well, I have
So-
my work.
Yes.
I have my work to do. If you want to continue to chat, I have to continue. You can walk with me if you'd like.
Oh yeah.
What can I?
While you guys were down in the grave, I noticed, I don't know, it was like hands, some necklaces. I don't know what drew my attention to it. It was like the name was like Yoo-hoo.
Yes, that is the U family plot that we were digging.
Oh.
One of the members of that family has passed away and moved on, and its body is being brought here to lay to rest.
When did this happen?
I've been burying elven lives for the past month. I've not buried anyone else, though.
Weird.
So in your entire career, you've not.
Oh, no, I've buried many of other races, but I've not buried any other races in the past month, but the elves.
Just elves.
Correct.
I'm surprised that any elves are moving on.
I'm surprised other races aren't dying. That's not normal.
There's definitely some funny stuff going on.
Is it,
Wait, aren't elves supposed to live like a long time?
Yeah.
yes.
Those guys, they shouldn't be dying like this. Yeah,
Chills went up Barnabas' spine as he may have had an epiphany, and he it just bursts out of him. But I wonder if the life energy of the elven races is not being stolen and somehow being passed into the younger races, that the more mortal races, and when they die, that life energy is what's keeping them animated, while the elves are losing their lives. Is that a possibility? Occultism?
Sure.
Oh, that's better. 29.
Without any kind of base in seeing kind of how the afterlife works, it's hard for you to ascertain what is actually going on beyond your life existence.
Right.
But I mean, when you're putting pieces together, it sometimes a square peg fits in a round hole if the round hole's big enough. I mean, if it's
Yeah, I just would hate to put my own bias on the data to skew it to my conclusion. But there does seem to be some sort of correlation.
the gentleman walks over and grabs a what looks to be a giant hook kind of contraption, like a big giant shepherd's hook.
Yeah.
And kind of starts heading towards the tree.
Where's the heirlooms that? Can you point us in that direction, guy with the eye thing, sir?
Yes, we
Stuff
never
we came
did get his
for.
name.
Yeah, I didn't, but he's walking off. I wanted to get his attention. That's
And
how
it
I remember getting
probably
his
would
attention.
get his attention. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know his
Well,
name.
I can show you where the plot is that their family are buried if you'd like,
Oh, yes, please.
but I have to tend to my duties first. You let me. I'll be. You can walk with me if you'd like, and we can continue to chat. I have things that are very time sensitive.
I would love to observe, and I followed along with him.
Yeah. I'm going
So,
to look
um,
over him and see if there's anything discerning, like, so, if anything feels off. I'm not getting that impression. But...
He carries himself with a limp. He looks like an older elven half elf. He's got dark hair, pointed ears. He's got one that's kind of mawed down.
As far as his elf heritage, does it look like it's sun elf based
Nope.
on his skin?
He looks like he's a moon elf.
Okay.
So he approaches the tree, and he gets probably within 30 feet of this tree, and he takes this giant hook, and he reaches it up and hooks it onto a necklace with a crystal on it.
Mhm.
And he pulls it off the tree very carefully, and it slides down the hook, and he grabs what looks to be a empty soul crystal and necklace,
Mhm.
and takes the hook and kind of turns around, and he kind of somberly kind of lowers his head and says a very quiet elven prayer, and then walks back to where the crook was leaning against one of the mausoleums, and he walks to the grave that was being dug, and he lays the empty crystal in the chain in the bucket that had the little hands that were held out like this.
Mhm.
And they just kind of forked across the. So, like, you got a chain that went across the first finger, the chain that goes across the second finger. This one kind of goes across the third finger.
Sure.
And as you look into that little hands, you see 3 empty soul crystals inside the hands that are below this tombstone.
Can you tell us, with this family, is it not typical that when these people die, they take these crystals to their home tree? Why were they brought here?
They were brought here because they don't have a home tree any longer.
The Barnabas felt then the weight of what that means, and the kind of the tragedy of that, really, that so many elves have been.
But I can
Display.
assure you that those crystals, and he kind of looks at Turby in the reference of the artifacts of what he was talking about. Those crystals belong right here, and not where that man is going to take them.
Are you saying that he has no right to them because it's not his family? It's his family, isn't it?
I'm from the Quint family. Didn't you know that?
No. No. What?
No, you didn't know that, or no, I'm not.
I don't believe you. You're saying that
Do
he
you
could
believe
simply
him?
say the names of the families he's interested in and one over.
What do you know of the 2 families? And he shifts his eyes to the 2 elves that are in the group. And Cyril kind of chokingly says, and he kind of rolls his eyes in the back of his head, and he says, I can tell you that the Vantas family is one of the eldest lineages of elves that exist. And I would assume that the other is as well. Those are... And he kind of... Cyril kind of dips his head like he's disgusted, like he didn't put the two and two together.
Mm.
Those soul crystals alone, empty, would probably fetch hundreds of thousands of gold.
He got you, Barnabas. You wanted to come in here and try to get him. We
Got
shouldn't have
all of
listened
us.
to that guy. I knew it.
We wanted to
Right,
do him a
Kirby knew
favor
it.
to get that map.
Oh yeah, the map.
Right. Which was
Your idea.
It was your idea.
Sure.
Hypothesis.
So what
you say so.
what brings you all the way this way if it wasn't for a scamming merchant on the road?
We were taken in. It does seem. We were here, honestly, looking for our wayward friends, and we came across him and saw an opportunity to perhaps
What
gain.
friends are you looking for?
Lenny and Sunshine. Bar.
Some-
Ha ha ha.
The orange
laugh it.
glasses man
Yes.
and the bright-haired woman.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
seem to see his tracks have come in here and then out of here really quickly. I don't.
We had a conversation about a day ago. They said they were looking for you, and said that if you were to come this way, that they went to the town.
There's no way that it's been a day. We've only been traveling
hours
for
at
like 6
best.
hours.
But again, we did experience that temporal anomaly, that
Time snap, as you
weird,
called it.
weird time,
Weird time.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
time
Yep.
snap.
The big words around Derby.
2 fingers of time, 5 fingers of time.
Right. Got it. Headstones.
Yes,
So
You don't look like merchants, and you don't look like the typical people who travel down these roads. What are you doing over here?
I'm
Take it.
lost.
You're lost.
I'm lost.
we've been traveling eastward to find the source of the quakes that have been plaguing the continent. If you want honesty, I'll give it. And as part of those journeys, we lost a couple of our friends, as you said, the orange glasses man and bright-haired woman, and we've come here to track them down.
the orange glasses man, he was being drawn. Like something was leading him one way. I think that's why he left the camp. I don't know. But you say you talked to him.
Well, I tell you this. There are many that have been drawn in that direction. And I can assure you that some may find their final resting place inside of my grave. You search for someone else, do you not?
Yes. Are we still searching for Callie?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
I will offer you this piece of advice. And he kind of turns his head, and you can see like his good eye that he has. It's not the glass one. He kind of turns his head, and a small like tear kind of wells into the corner of his eye, and he says, takes this deep breath in. I need everyone to roll perception, please.
Natural 20.
Oh,
31.
First one.
26.
27.
He takes in this breath, and almost like he knows that you guys are watching him, he just kind of turns his gaze and he stops at Barnabas. Like he knows that you are intently like have locked on to his kind of facial emotions and his raw kind of the way he's at, and he says that you have a small amount of time, young man, and you'll lose her forever. He says you have one encounter and 3 days until her soul comes to my graveyard. So I would suggest, and he turns and kind of looks and he says that you get a move on. and stop spending your time with an old man who's just wasting away digging graves for the elves that are going to find themselves here.
Who only has 3 days?
Your friend.
Allie?
And with that, he grabs the hook and he turns the corner of the mausoleum and walks down the face and kind of turns the back corner, and you see the hook kind of rest against the other side of the mausoleum, and where the light from the lantern was kind of extinguishes, and the graveyard kind of goes dark. And you see, just as quickly as the lights lit from the outside, from the very back wall, they kind of go.
Oh no.
What in the...
Are you afraid of the dark?
Yes. And was he talking about Callie?
And with
We
that,
got to get out of here.
with that, I need you to roll initiative.
No.
Uh,
I'm gonna punch that dude.
No.
Got the natty though. I don't know if that really helps me on initiative, but I think it does.
The natty 20?
Yeah.
That definitely helps you
Yeah,
on,
I think that's
on
like
initiative.
a bonus something.
I did not get
Maybe.
that.
Yeah, I think I'm going first.
Probably.
All right.
13.
13.
Yes, sir.
13 for Bartness. Yep. Probably even slower than 13.
26.
By half.
They told you Callie has 3 days. Is that what I? Or
I'm assuming it's Callie because that was the last person I mentioned, but what if he means Sunshine?
All right. So you guys have found yourself inside of the graveyard. I need to know the marching order in which you guys are standing. Clearly, you were talking to the caretaker. Never even asked the guy's his name. How rude.
he's the guy with the eye.
So how are you organized? I know several's usually up front.
Um,
I was off of Barnabas's side.
Off Barnabas's side.
Yeah,
Barnabas, were you behind several?
I would have been as close to where the caretaker was before he took off.
Gotcha. So
whatever
you
that
were kind of standing here. He was originally kind of standing in this vicinity when he was speaking to you.
Yes.
So,
yeah. When he took off, that's where I found myself.
Copy. And 13, you were off to Barnabas's side.
Yeah, I would have been there as his
Copy.
aide.
Turby,
would-
where are you at, sir?
I was on the other side of several there, kind of like interjecting with
Okay.
the character.
So, as
Yeah,
you
cool.
guys are standing in this graveyard and this mist, this eerie mist just rolls into the graveyard like something unnatural from a scene in any horror film or movie that you know. It's like the very color of existence just kind of drains from this graveyard, which even when you look at the tree, the colors are still there, it's still vibrant, but it's just kind of muted and gray. And this figure amasses out of this inky black ichor from the ground, and out in front of them is this make this horrible screeching noise, as these little pustule things crawl up out of the ground.
Oh.
And where these things come from is just left with this black ichor burn on the ground where the thing was just like spewed out like a pimple popped from the earth. And this
Gross.
eerie black figure
I like that.
is kind of an amorphic looking ichor beast that's standing there, and it's kind of waving back and forth, and you can see just multiple faces in its head kind of being pressed against this silhouette of like darkness and shadow. Kirby, you're up, good sir.
I don't even know what I want to do. Like I seen him come out, and I'm like, just imagine. Like, you guys need a bath, obviously. Like you guys look disgusting.
Run.
said run.
Just run.
Run. Like I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. I don't remember doing my normal thing because I definitely didn't want to touch that.
No.
But I think we're stuck. So I also, how close were they?
You're probably within 80 feet.
Oh, 80 feet. Yeah. I would, I'd probably step back, but like, be like, I don't know, guys. This, probably isn't a smart thing. And, I don't know, some sort of what's going into like a defensive posture just in case. Like, I want to make sure if Barnabas wants to leave or if that's what the party decides, that I'm ready. But I'm not running up to engage these guys right now. 80 feet away, that's pretty far. So I guess that'd be my initial thought. I was like, what are we doing, guys? We could use my bonus
All
round
right.
or whatever for that.
13. What are you doing, sir?
Where's Several?
Several is to your immediate on the other side of Barnabas. He's kind of like in this general vicinity. If you see my hand,
Sorry, I
he's-
mean
he's
in
right.
terms of
The order?
yep, the order.
he is after you.
Okay. I'm going to look at Several and just kind of delay until I see what he goes and does.
Copy.
I'm going to let him take the lead.
Okay. So by and large, Several is never a man that backs down from much, but he will kind of quickly, and this is probably the first time it's probably ever happened, but he will kind of take a general consensus around the group, since how he's not the fastest or the first one going. He has seen his party members kind of
Waver?
Wailing words.
These things look nasty.
Look, I don't know. Those guys are speaking in riddles and everything is cryptic, but he said we have one encounter in 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we escape here if we run from the encounter. And you see this just unnatural fog kind of cover the basis of everything that you're doing, and it burns from those little pustule holes that came from the ground that spew. This fog just kind of like flips into the scene, and Several is just I don't think we can save Callie if we don't finish what we are starting here.
Yeah.
Very well.
Let's go.
So Several will charge forward into what seems to be the only option that he has.
Careful not to trip.
So he will come up and stand between the two pustules that are there, essentially taking a position where he's got one kind of at each angle here. And he will raise his lethal sword. He'll bring out Dawnbreaker, and he will pull it out, and he'll strike it across this thing's kind of amorphic anatomy that it just kind of looks like a little starfish, suckerfish that skitters on the ground. It's kind of inky and black. That's a 18. That's a 30 and some change. That's a crit for him. So he splashes across this thing's chest, what would seem to be his chest. He takes 12 damage for that little guy. And you see the blade kind of pass through this thing, and the ichor splatter across on the other side onto a gravestone that's standing there with a surname that just kind of gets splattered over, and it says Philifar on the stone, and it's just splattered across the stone, and it kind of slides down the tombstone. And the thing looks like it takes damage, so it's not like it looks like it doesn't take damage, but you can see it's just like kind of throwing a knife through water, and the ichor kind of splashes across. And then with his second action, he will go into his dueling parry to raise his AC. That brings us to you guys if you would like to release.
Is several within 70 feet then, or less?
Of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can I move into a position that's flanking? My movement speed's 35.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. And...
It will take you 2 moves to get there. You willing
Okay.
to do that?
Yep.
Okay. So you work your way through this graveyard scene, and you're stepping over tombstones and things that are just shrubs and stuff that have overgrown the area. And you find yourself on the other side of this black pustule that's kind of, like I said, starfish, suckerfish to the ground. And you're between several and the thing.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of hop around on the tombstones to make sure I'm minimizing my time on the actual ground.
Sure.
And when I come around behind, I'm going to get into my dancing position, and we'll just start our little sway. I wish we had the music to go with it, but
Right?
um,
Missing your bard?
yeah. All the same, I'm swinging at this guy with a 32 to hit.
That is a hit.
6. Is that a crit?
That, in fact, is a crit.
Okay. 6, 7, 8. 44 damage.
44 damage.
Wow.
Okay. I need you and several to make a reflex save, please.
Is it reflex save or a reflex DC?
Reflex save.
Okay. 26.
Okay. So you will take half of the damage as this thing explodes into a cloud of black ichor. And when it hits your skin, 13.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it.
You take 7 damage as this thing explodes in ichor, and you would think this is like where it lands on your skin just begins to just frostbite almost immediately. And you and Cyril both take 7 as this thing just, much like it was birthed from the ground, like popping a pimple, this thing just explodes open.
Well,
And-
Sasha, that was effective.
I would have moved up 'cause since I held or whatnot. I would have moved up, but not all the way into that position, but close enough that, I mean, I gotta use two actions anyway for 40.
Yep.
But close enough that, like, if one of the other one
Mhm.
gets close, I can throw the. I was gonna throw my hammer.
Yep, you could probably still reach it with your hammer if you want to throw it at it first, and let it instead of waiting for it to
Yep,
come at
that's-
you.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Go for it.
Are you going after the one that is directly in front of Cyril here, or are you going after the one that is over here in the grass by itself?
Probably the one in front of Cyril.
Okay. That is not the one he hit. That's not the one that I hit.
Right,
So
that's
just
not
a-
the one.
okay.
that blew up
Yeah,
already.
that's not the one. Well, correct.
Right. Yeah, I did really good. 18?
18 does hit it.
All right.
Sweet. And then that's 6. 5.
5 damage.
Yep.
You got it.
Sweet. Yeah, take that stupid, gross-looking thing.
Okay. That will bring us to the big bad guy. This black ichor beast kind of thing, when it goes to move, you'll see arms and appendages kind of ichor out of the thing, and it just kind of like skitters like the girl from The Ring out of the TV across the ground as these arms and legs just form out of this black mess of ichor, and it just pushes towards you and it crawls across the ground as it moves across this scape of the graveyard to finding itself standing right in front of Turby. Just kind of bobs its head like this back and forth, and you hear like a screech as this arm just kind of forms out of the ichor and lashes at you. That would be a 21.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
He will.
Get nastiness out of here.
That's a lie. I looked at the wrong one. That is a 24.
Oh.
well, then that changed.
My bad. I looked at the wrong. I looked at the little. 24.
Yeah, that hit.
Okay, so you take.
Remember being really disgusted.
You
with
should
what just
be.
happened.
You take 15 points of slashing damage, and you take 4 points of persistent cold damage.
Oh. Right.
As this thing just it reaches out, and when it slashes you, it like grabs a hold of your arm. The hand does. Instead of when it rakes its hand off of you, the hand where the hand was is like almost frostbitten almost immediately, and the claw that comes across just leaves icicle and slashes across your hand as it just sucks the heat and the warmth right out of your arm, and your arm starts to kind of tingle
Yeah.
and go numb, and you see it starting at your fingertips. You're starting to lose color in your hand as it chases up your hand to where the wound is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barnabas, it's not
then-
normal.
The little bad guy will slither over to Sivril and lash out at him. That will hit me.
Oh no.
That's not nice. Can't hit me.
Yeah. You were parrying and everything.
I take 11. And this little pustule literally runs up, and with 2 actions, it essentially just grabs a hold. The little tentacles just kind of reach out and grab a hold of my leg, Sivril's leg, and just much to the same damage type as the big ichor beast. It just starts to like, you see like freeze and frost just kind of burn up the back of my leg as you're standing there. And this thing has a maw kind of mouth inside of the bottom of the ichor beast that has opened up and kind of does those old toothy. Yep, absolutely. And that's for me. Barnabas, we're at you, good sir.
Yeah. So I think they're tactically Barnabas was not right up next to that creature. I don't remember running up there just yet.
Oh, my bad.
I think
thought
you swapped our
I
meeting.
sure did. There you go.
That happens. We look exactly the same.
I mean, one is, shorter than the other, but that's
Yeah.
you, not Turby.
Yeah. And the beard and everything. I think
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
same.
It's all good.
But
Chalk it up to being blind.
I understand totally. So, how far is the large ichor beast from me currently?
About 20 feet.
Okay, and then I can't see.
The
There's
other
another
pustule
kind of
beast,
free
the other pustule
column?
beast is right here in front of
Okay.
Sibril.
And then one way behind there.
And then the other
Way in
one
the
is
back.
back here.
Yeah. You know what? Let's. Oh my God.
You got a great big target.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just be careful; it's moving around.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly assess the target for any weaknesses. So
Okay.
I will hunt my prey, and I have no idea what knowledge this is going to be. Occult, maybe?
That would be Arcana.
Arcana. Oh boy. 30.
Well, shit the bed, Barnabas.
Yeah,
Is that a critical?
It sure is.
Hey,
I guess so. So
Nice.
on your next attack, everybody will get +1 to hit this
Um,
thing.
This thing is
was a big
immune
hit.
to cold damage.
Immune to cold. Okay. But I'm searching for any weaknesses.
A weakness is it is weak to fire.
Oh, that's
Imagine
my
that.
favorite thing. So I immediately, knowing that, grab for the first glowing orange vial on my belt and throw it right at the guy.
The big guy
Yes. This is going to be a 25 to hit him.
that does hit him.
Okay.
Thank you.
26 if I get a benefit from the hunt prey myself.
That still hits him.
Did it push it to crit though?
Did not.
Well, I tried. Okay, so what's going to happen is this will explode, and a burst of flames will crash out over its disgusting flesh, and we'll do 13 damage, and it'll persistently burn 2.
Okay.
Did that look like it hurt him pretty
Yes.
badly? Perfect. I'll throw another one right at him.
Yeah, get up.
Quick bombs. This is going to be a 23 to hit him this time. Oh, I'm sorry, map. It's going to be
24.
yeah, but it's actually going to be a
Minus
19.
5.
19. Yeah, 19.
That hits.
19 still strikes.
Ooh,
nice.
This time it'll be 10 fire. And then it'll still persistently burn 2, and that is my round.
Okay. So you throw these bombs on this thing, and when they explode, the glass shatters through, and you see the molecules start to coalesce together and catch fire, and it hits this ichor, and it just begins to just like melt away. And the thing lets out this blood-curdling scream, and sloths of it are just like falling on the ground, and you see arms and appendages coming out of the thing, just trying to slough off the stuff that's burning, as it's just like kind of raking the fire off of itself, trying to keep itself alive.
Perfect. And I'll scream out, if you have fire, hit it with fire. And then, yeah.
Top of the order.
Yeah. All right.
Turbinator.
Yep. I don't have fire. So I fire hammer, and I throw it while I yell
I
fire.
need you to make me a fortitude save.
All right. Where's my fortitude? No, not 19. 29.
Okay. You don't take any of the subsequent damage, but that discoloration just starts chasing up your arm,
Okay.
oh God.
and you are now
Oh.
light blind. You have not light blindness as it chases up your arm, up your neck, and you start seeing black veins and stuff start streaking into your face and the side of your cheek as it moves up the side of your face. And you gain light blindness.
Huh. Well.
So you would affectionately add dazed to your character as a condition.
Right.
But not confused.
Correct.
Well,
That's
let's see.
it's way worse.
Dazzled?
Dazzled. Sorry, dazzled.
That.
Oh.
What's that do exactly?
Read it out loud.
Your eyes are overstimulated. If vision is your only precise sense, all creatures and objects are concealed to you.
Yeah. Flat check 5 to hit something, I think.
Yes. So
Well,
they
yeah.
move up one on the stealth track.
Mm.
So
Right.
you have a mischance.
Right. Cool. I feel like as this is moving up, I wanna try to stop it. So can I don't know, do medicine or first aid on myself? Like
You-
what like
You can surely try.
right. I wanna try.
Always try.
Yeah,
Right.
can always try.
Cool. Believe it or not, I have good medicine. So 28.
28. From the best of your recollection, without have ever running across these creatures before or dealing with this type of thing,
Right.
this looks like it probably isn't going to be healed by medicine, and it
Ooh.
may be some kind of curse or something that's now affecting your body.
Okay.
So I would know I probably shouldn't.
Curse.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
to
Yeah, you
cut.
shouldn't like
Yeah.
tourniquet your arm or anything
Sweet.
like that.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So then immediately I would be like, we can go into him, and I'm gonna try to Well, not. I'm gonna throw the hammer, so it's gonna be really hard because I can barely see. But I want to throw the hammer again at
Okay.
the location that I threw it before.
Okay.
Cool. That's 19 plus 13, 32
At the big guy?
at the one I threw it at before. So
Yep.
yeah.
32?
Yep.
Okay, that's a hit. Just regular hit.
We just regular.
Yep.
Oh,
You missed it
darn
by
it.
missed it by 1.
I meant.
Oh, you
no,
get the one from
plus one.
Barnabas.
I didn't add that.
That
There
would
we
be
go.
that would be a crit for you, good sir.
Don't forget your alchemist.
Yeah, don't forget where's your sign.
Right. Where's your
I,
sign?
yeah.
Right, and
I need
so
to
that
get one.
that is double.
Double damage.
Right. 5, so it's 10. Only it'll be 18.
18 damage.
Yes.
Okay. He will take that on the nose, and he does not look very good,
Right.
gentlemen.
So that's the medicine on the arm, throw, and then I'm gonna throw it one more time. Okay, it's only that this time. As it returns to me, and yeah, not great. 12.
No.
Yeah.
You throw it, and it kind of, and it kind of just opens up its body, and the hammer goes right through it, and it comes back.
Wait. At least I
And,
got it.
and it just kind of snarls, and you see just like this black maw that's opening in its mouth, and it kind of lets out a feral scream in your face.
All right. Well, Barnabas.
13, you are up.
Yeah, I will look at that later.
All right.
I think you need to amputate it.
Knowing Cyril's capabilities, I'm going to trust that you have this. I'm going to tumble over to try to get in position, so I'm flanking with Turby.
Gotcha. That's easily done. Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to see about unloading on this thing. Maybe we can get the
Here's a flamingo.
Yep. It's been a while. It doesn't have knees, but
No,
we
I don't
can
know
still
what,
try
what
it.
happens here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 28 to hit.
20?
Excuse me, 38 to hit.
And
38 is a crit.
Yes.
You're in for it now, guy.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
done.
$30. 38.
Points of damage.
Yes.
Okay. How do you want to end this thing?
So I'm tumbling over. I'm trying to set up the piercing flamingo, so I really just wanted to get it into a good position. So I'm more just coming down on top of him, just straight down through the back, and I imagine that it just separates. I managed to find some kind of a chunk of substance in the center, and it just kind of starts the ooze just all over, like in a big kind of pudding kind of wave. So
As your Sasha, right? As it goes through the Ichor beast, it separates in half like you would expect, and as it gets to the pool at the bottom, it just seeps back down into the ground where it came from, and you hear this feral scream coming from the pustules that are still out on the battlefield, as their tentacles kind of rigid and they kind of like skirt back and forth, and they kind of get very stout or straight in their posture, and they kind of like lurch up, and they become kind of like they're standing almost instead of like suckered across the ground.
I'm going to do the combat assessment on that.
Sure.
To do a recall knowledge to try to see if I can recall what this thing is.
Okay.
I got a 13 on my roll.
13, you say?
Yeah.
That's not
Um,
bad.
Oh,
that-
yeah, it's pretty good
that
over
is
here.
called a shadow spore.
Shadow Spore.
Honestly, don't know if he would even have known that, even with.
And you have only heard of these creatures in stories maybe Lenny has shared about the shadow plane or planes of existence where there isn't much light that exists. Um, and that's pretty much all you know. Civil's turn. Civil will take a swipe at the one that he's still standing in front of. That is a 24 to hit. That hits the little guy. And he takes... Oh my, that's terrible.
Ooh.
Like 9 damage. And it slices through him, spreading ichor across the trees and more headstones as he's cutting through. I'll attempt to cut it again. That will hit him. That's the same freaking damage. That's garbage. This thing takes Dawnbreaker again, and more of it just sloths off into other directions. I'll just try to hit it. No, I'll do dueling parry so my AC stays high. As I posture myself to kind of defend against whatever the hell it's going to do. And then we come to their turn. And
We made him mad.
13, as you where you had split this thing in half and it had slothed underground, you hear the feral scream coming from those pustule things, and they just kind of slowly start to kind of like lurch, and their heads kind of shake, what you would presume to be their head, and they just kind of start turning into what looks to be liquid, and they just kind of start slothing back into the earth, and they coalesce. You see all the ichor that's been splattered around has just kind of just animates and skitters across the graveyard to the back grave, and the beast rises out of the ground that you had just split in half.
What?
And it turns its head and cocks its head sideways, and as you are standing there looking at it, you see from its chest is the visage and the face of 13 in its chest as it's pressed out, looking at you, kind of studying as it kind of cocks its head, and these arms just kind of creak out of it, and it lets out this feral scream, and it starts for you.
Have you met 13?
Yeah. I guess it has.
So this thing comes up right at you.
I'm Mark, remember?
Martin.
Before the thing comes up at you, it lets out this arm. It kind of raises its arm like this, and these ichor, like darts, just kind of shoot out of its fingers in your direction.
Just had to go and make it angry.
That would be good, sir. A 24.
Oh, no.
Hey, Barnabas, how about you hit it with some fire?
I will.
You should be quicker
You
sometimes.
take 6 cold damage and 2 persistent cold damage. And this thing will skitter around the back of the tree and start heading towards where Several is standing. Again, letting out this feral scream. And his amorphic body kind of presses, and as it's looking at Several, you see Several's face kind of press out of its chest.
It's hideous.
13, I need you to make me a fortitude save, please.
You got it. 17.
17. You will continue to take the persistent cold damage the following round.
All right.
And at these darts that have sunk into your shoulder, much like Turby, you start seeing this black ichor chase through your upper part of your chest, down your arm, starts shooting up your neck. You too have light blindness and are dazzled.
All right.
That's weird. We do the dazzling over here with
Barnabas.
Here's a flamingo.
Where are you, good sir?
Well, that's great. This new creature that boiled up out of the ground, how far away was he from me now? Where in that
He
position?
is.
Within 40?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Within 40.
Okay, well, that's great. It is a new target. It's the same type of creature, though, right?
Correct.
But since it's a new target, man, is it worth it? No, it's not. Screw it. I'm gonna go right for my third and final alchemist fire. 27 to hit.
Okay.
And
Barnabas, I need you to make me a flat D20 roll and tell me what you get, please.
awesome. Is that is this a check to re-roll my damage?
No.
Eat that.
So that would be
Nope.
nice.
Okay.
Flat check is an 8.
An 8. This thing, much like the rigidity of the pustules that kind of skittered and kind of became rigid,
Yeah.
you see the same kind of jerk shitter motion in the creature.
Uh-huh.
And as you throw the bottle, the thing skitters and jerks, and it just kind of jumps, and the bottle sails
Oh, you son.
past the thing. And you swear that when you threw it, that thing was standing there.
Yeah. Okay.
And it kind of turns its head sideways and looks at you and lets out again. And you see Barnabas's face pressed through the chest of this ichor.
Yeah. Cool. So this is a new ability for this creature. Can I roll another
You sure can.
Arcana check to figure
You-
out what this is about?
Sure can.
23.
23. This is called Shadow Evade. And it has a reactionary ability every round that allows a flat check for it to essentially just ichor and skitter out of existence as its connection to the shadow plane is constantly pulling it back and it re-emerging in its position.
Okay. But I know he can't constantly keep this up. So I'm going to try again.
You are correct at that, good sir.
Bam. Let's throw this thing. 17.
17 does not hit it.
Cool.
And you can tell. Actually, give me perception. Give me just a flat perception roll.
All right.
I won't even take a turn for you. You just roll it.
That's going to be 25.
The way this thing looks and turns and skitters and it kind of presses your face to its chest, it's learning about you. So you see where it's kind of like you burnt the shit out of it a turn ago.
Uh-huh.
So if it doesn't have the ability to skitter out of existence every turn, it's probably going to save it for your turn. Like, you hurt a lot.
Oh, you.
So it
yeah.
seems to be like its existence is kind of scanning each one of you as it targets you, and it's kind of learning and adapting around you.
Okay. Great.
Find ourselves at the top of the order unless you have something else. Good sir.
No, there's no reason to.
Turbinator. The only thing left is this big bad dude.
Yeah. Well,
It's going to have to be you to take him out.
I don't know if monster hugs will work.
Yeah, don't hug it.
but it could.
You can always try.
We can always try. That's what I've learned tonight.
It's like that inner voice is telling you.
Right. I feel like. And,
Kirby, that black ichor is chasing across your chest.
right. Right. I don't like it. This. Kind of throwing me off. I'm like, Barnabas set fire, and I'm like, I think. I don't know how much of an action this uses to like get in the bag and pull out my torch. To, like,
One action to get in the bag and pull it out.
yeah, and then another one to light it. I
No,
assume, or is
I'll
comes out.
Yep.
Boom, light it up with my kit, and then
You have light blindness now, don't you?
probably
Oh, no, it's even
So
worse.
as you are now exposed to bright light,
I was like,
you are you light that torch and it. Oh my! It's like you have a migraine and you just
right.
you're not.
But I'm
holding,
holding like
you're
if I
holding
hold
the
it
force of your
really,
pain.
if I hold it really high, like does it bother me?
Oh,
Like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Your arm's 20 feet long.
I don't know.
It's like you got a studio light right there, shining straight on your face.
My plan anyway, it didn't matter, was I still know the general direction
Yeah,
of where he was,
Yep,
and being that
correct.
I am dead tracker, I should still
Yep.
boom. I'm going into his general area, and I want to. I don't know. I'm just thinking like of how this would work. Maybe tumble through or whatever, but I want to stay in his vicinity, but light a big old like circle of fire around him.
Are you trying to light the ground on on fire, or are you trying to light him on fire?
I'm trying to light the ground in his vicinity on fire in hopes that the fire engulfs him.
Oh, okay. So
What
you
that-
kind of move over into the
Yeah,
this vicinity, kind
I
of behind
panic.
where Cyril is standing, and
yes,
um,
I'm blinded too, and I'm in a panic because of the black stuff.
yeah,
And
I agree.
Barnabas said fire. That's my only source of fire.
And you're just kind of tracing it on the ground.
Around, yep.
The
Right.
world.
Well, I could hit him with the torch, but no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, this dude tries to sink into the ground. Now the ground's on fire.
Okay.
All right, so
can
you
see where you're
you set
going.
the torch on the ground, and you're attempting to light the ground on fire. You do know that the ground is pretty wet
Right.
based on
That's true.
the mud and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a minute for the ground to catch.
Sweet. That.
Okay. 13.
1, 2, 3. Yep.
All right.
Standing there with the torch.
Well, I like where his. I'm going to. So let's see here.
Just so you know, from your wound, it's now chasing across your chest and down your arm. And you too. You don't want to get closer to that light because you know it's going to hurt. Trying to get closer to that torch.
Okay. I'll come up behind the creature, doing what acrobatics I can.
Okay.
Learning from Lenny, I have some protection,
Are you trying to flank with Cyril on
I
the other
am.
side? Okay.
and I'll start with that and see where this goes.
Okay.
So have at you. 23 to hit.
That misses.
All right.
Oh no, you're flanking. That will hit him. You're
Right.
flanking. That will hit him.
Oops. 20 damage.
Okay. It will definitely take that on the nose, and you take Sasha through it, and Iker goes flying.
There's not really any strategic aspects that I can. I'll just swing at it again.
Sure.
That's 15 to hit.
That will miss.
Okay.
That would
learning.
be my turn.
Coat your weapon and
I now
fire.
flanking with 13. I will turn Dawnbreaker on him. 26 will hit him.
Is there a dippable surface?
He takes
I'm not
14
coding
damage as Dawnbreaker goes kind of up its anatomy.
Nice.
And Iker just kind of flies straight up into the air as my blade passes through him. My second action, I will attempt to hit him again. -5. Flanking is 24 on the nose. He takes 8 damage. Okay. And this is just kind of like a machine gun at this point. It's just Iker going everywhere. This thing, if it had anatomy, it looks pretty worse for wear, and it's letting out feral screams and grunts and every time that you guys attack it. It is now its turn. And recoiling back from the torch itself, you see it kind of like its body kind of sways away from where Turby is standing,
Yep.
and
Knew
it will turn its attention to Cyril, as it's not Cyril is currently not affected by whatever this curse is, and it will attempt to hit him. Will not hit him. Second strike, that'll hit him, and he will take. Why do I have to roll max damage on me? So Cyril takes 17 damage.
Oh.
As this claw just kind of reaches out, and much like what you would figure, like if you throw a water balloon onto a concrete wall, this hand just kind of slams into the chest of Cyril, and just this black ichor just kind of explodes across the front of his chest. And this almost instantaneously, you see this ichor just start underneath his skin, just starting creeping up in his chest and his arms as it works its way into its body. And then that would bring us to Mr. Barnabas.
Well, so I did not notice the creature scream out and take on the aspect of my face this time.
Correct. It looked just like Cyril when it was attacking him.
Okay.
Cyril's face popped into it.
So feeling like I have an opening, I am going to use quick alchemy to craft one more alchemist fire
Cool.
and whip it at this thing. 23 to hit.
23?
Yes.
Not hit.
Crap. That only lasts for one
That'll
round.
last for one round.
Yeah. And it's the same thing, so I can't do it every round. That's silly. So that was a fart in the wind, and so thinking that times are getting desperate, I fumble around on my belt and I pulled out a vial, and looking at it, I'm like, and I chug it down real quick, and all my limbs you see like my cheekbones bulge out and grow more angular, and I'll have to try again. It's up to you, please.
Hey, Barnabas, what actually happened with the alchemist fire? Like, would it still fall near them, or does it go way out of the way? Does it still go off?
That is a great question. It still takes splash damage. It's actually 4 damage. Yeah, when I miss, still gets hit by splash.
And it's fire damage, correct?
Thank you for that reminder. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Well, I was just thinking back to the idea of, like, greasing up my sword, and if there's still fire there, I might still do that.
I don't know that it is persistently burning, so if you could put your fire in its fire, or you can try his torch.
Okay.
I have a torch.
Just keeping my options open.
Yeah, brainstorming. I like it. I'm done.
All right. Kirby.
How's my fire looking?
It's more afraid of the fire on the stick than the fire you're trying to start on the ground.
Sweet. Lift it up and
Yeah, it recoils. Like, it is instantly recoils back from the light of the fire.
all right. I mean, that's about what I can do. I don't think I have grease to put on my hammer, so
Your hammer does still hurt it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would still. So I hold the torch out, and then obviously with the hammer, I don't know my distance
you want
per
to
se.
you can take a 5-foot step and be in the reach to smash it with your hammer, unless you're going to throw it.
Was my. You're already flanking him, right?
Yep, he's on the back, so he's back here.
And it with my
Several's here.
long mountain dwarf arms with the torch. Is that into the dude's square? So if
There's one 5-foot
Right.
square between you and it.
cool,
So
I'm all the way out there, but I'm gonna stay where I'm at and throw the hammer
Okay.
at him for
Olay.
a solid 27.
That will hit.
All right, and then this is where big damage. Yeah, not 6.
6
Yeah, 6 damage.
in this.
Sweet. I didn't imagine that, but through the hammer, it's like, that's the Thunder Dwarf, and then I jab the stupid torch into him, and I'm like, you take whatever this is with you, trying to force it through the torch into him.
Okay. This thing recoils in this scream, and you see as you force the flame into it, its particles just start kind of effervescently burning off of it as your hammer splashes through it, and it bounces at the recoil. As it comes back to you, it kind of pulls all of that ichor into the flame, and it just starts to burn it alive. As it screams, you just see it kind of emulsifying on the inside and burning. kind of on the end of your torch.
Awesome.
And as the thing burns alive, the heat kind of comes up, and you just see it flashes through a bunch of faces of everyone that you have fought, everyone you know, and then it finally ends in your face standing there, and it just kind of, and then it kind of crumbles to the ground. And with that, you feel the color of the area kind of come back to its vibrancy. And you kind of take a minute to gather yourself and take a breath and realize that the caretaker comes back around the edge of the mausoleum and says, "There's your one encounter. You've proven yourself today. I know what I must do. She has but 3 days."
I think I got some in my nose, guys.
Threw the torch down like, oh,
Make me perception checks.
freaking fantastic.
26.
30.
15.
Nice.
26, 30,
15.
15.
Yeah. that's-
You guys are probably 120 feet away from this guy. And there's he doesn't speak any different. He doesn't look any different. But he clearly knows more than what he is leading on. And from all of your observations of what you have gathered here, he looks at you and says, "Now, the true test comes whether or not your friends can prove themselves." And with that, we will draw this episode to a close.
I
Well,
hate
man.
curses.
On the heels of whether Sunshine and Lenny can do what they must do to prove themselves worthy.
hmm.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you for joining us this evening. It's been an elite time.
Oh, travel.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good evening.
Stupid caretaker coming up at the
And we
end.
still don't know his name. What's your name, dude?
Yeah, stupid caretaker with the eye.